We live, yeah? People, deluded, I'm back again. I'm happy to see you all back here and in good spirits, especially based on what Arsenal did, last night or last afternoon. I know I was scheduled to start at 2 p.m. and whatnot, people, but I thought, you know what? I'm actually on time. I'm actually ahead of schedule. I'm actually doing all right. Why waste any more time? Why not just get straight into it? Why not be a bit of a surprise for you guys? So I'm happy to see you're all doing well. You're all well and safe and whatnot. Pardon me, and I'm happy to see you all in the comments. Before I begin, people, like the infographic says there, please make sure you're hitting the like button. Please make sure you're subscribing if you're new here. Check out the memberships as well. Once you join here, there's no going back. You're not getting out of here, people. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, obviously, Arsenal, we can't afford to feel sorry for ourselves. We can't afford to keep focusing on the Leeds result, or the Villa result, or the Leicester result, or anything. Football doesn't care that we're losing games. Football doesn't care that we're dropping points. Football doesn't care that we can't buy a win, score goals. Football doesn't care that we don't look like a collective team. We need to get back on that horse. We need to mount that horse and get back going. Wolves are not going to give a crap this weekend. We've got 2 games this week, Mulder and obviously Wolves. So we're going to need to be at it. Spurs are definitely not going to care. We can't afford to feel sorry for ourselves, and we firmly just have to keep moving forward. Like you lot can all see, the run of games we have now until the start of the season, the start of the year, apologies, is a madness. In fact, I'd say up until March, I ain't got it all to hand, but people, it's a madness. You've seen the games, normally they kind of let us off and they stagger out these big games. They're coming thick and fast, people. I'm going off topic. I know I'm really going off topic, but I've mentioned it, so I kind of have to show you guys, sort of thing, people. 1 second. Arsenal fixtures, just to illustrate the point of what's feeling sorry for ourselves and wallowing in this state going to do for us. We're not going to get anywhere, people. We've got Wolves, we've got Mulder, then Wolves, then Rapid Vienna, then Spurs, then Dundalk. We then welcome Burnley at home in December, then Southampton. Then we've got to go to Everton away. We've got the EFL quarter-final. We've then got Chelsea on Boxing Day. 2 days later, we're going to Brighton's home ground, the Amex, where we struggle. We've also got to go to West Brom away, which I'm not confident on, regardless of their form. We've got on the 12th of January, we've got Palace at home. You remember, that was a game that Emery really messed up when we was trying to get top 4. We've got Newcastle. We end, look at the end until January, people. We've got Southampton away, then we welcome United. Then to start February, we've got Wolves away, Villa away, Leeds at home, Manchester City at home, Leicester away. February's not kind to us. And if you thought February isn't kind, look at what March is saying. You've got Burnley away, North London derby, a London derby with an away trip to West Ham's ground. You've then welcomed Liverpool. Of course, these are all subject to changes, assuming we go further in the Europa League and whatnot, people. But then, we're touching April now. You've got to play Liverpool, as I said. You've got Sheffield away. You've got Fulham. We welcome Everton. And that's probably the cleanest break we have, to be fair. I'm looking forward to the end of the season, really, because, I wouldn't mind that. April till May. I know you've got Chelsea, you've got Chelsea and whatnot, but I wouldn't mind that. The last 3 games is Chelsea away, Palace away, Arsenal versus Brighton at home. So it's a bit of a tricky one. But my point being, simply put, the games are coming thick and fast. We can talk about the micro, the sending off, the tactics, the individualism, and all of these things, but we've got to get back on that horse. As I said, people, the world isn't going to feel sorry for us, and neither is the Premier League. Nice to see you all locked in, man. Big up Emmanuel. Especially, it's nice to see a lot of you back here, especially because we haven't been good this season, simply put. The fact we drew is a miracle. It is, when you see the amount of times Leeds hit the post. Leeds didn't have their shooting boots on. Redrago was just trying to pull it in the top bins. You had Bamford. Don't know why he didn't have his shooting boots on. Not going to complain, my guy. Obviously, is it Rafina? I can't pronounce his name. He got his first start, the Brazilian, on the flanks. He was trying to score. Dallas and Koch, either side of either half, had chances to score. They had 24 shots. If you have 24 shots and you don't score and you don't take 3 points, you're going to look at yourself and what you're doing. And, credit to Bielsa's men, but it is what it is. And it's a weird one, man. It's a weird one because it depends how you look at it. You can either look at it as 2 points dropped because we didn't start the game well or look like we're in it, much like the Villa game. You know, or you can say it's a point game because we had to defend under that pressure with 10 men for 40 minutes. And I know people will be quick to point to last season and say we would have lost that. And I agree, there is some progress. But what use is it talking about, oh, we didn't lose 10-0 to Liverpool, we lost 3-0 or something? You know, we didn't get battered against City, but we still lost. You know, I reckon, and you know, and like I said with the Leeds point, I firmly get it, people. I firmly understand it. It fully makes sense. But at the same time, well, we're not necessarily doing all we can to get something out of the game. As much as the opposition is good, you know, and I don't want to sound sour and take anything away from Leeds. When you exclude Leeds' performance, was it a thing where Leeds shined because of their individuals, or were we just there from the taking, not trying to take anything from there? The same goes for Aston Villa. Were they superb, or just where we started slowly and never got in the game? You know, Leicester, was it really a good game plan from Rodgers, or did we fail to build on our early pressure and get something out of the game? It depends what way you look at it, people. And you know, I'm just annoyed how, you know, Arteta and the tactics is one thing, but yesterday I think there was enough definitely to shoot more, and not one player, especially because all of them are not too many of them are playing well, or they've got question marks over them. I would have liked to have seen a reaction from certain people, but it wasn't there. As Emmanuel also says, make sure you're smashing those likes buttons, people. Early doors, let's get that one gone, man. Let's get that one gone. Let's get that one gone. Like Zach said, you know, perfect guy, man. Afternoon, my dude. Big up yourself, Zach. Like the video on entry. I hope you're all doing the same. It takes 30 seconds and whatnot, people. You're right, South London. We do have Chelsea on Boxing Day. That can make or break Christmas. You know, I'm gonna make sure I get really drunk on Christmas because I'm not looking forward to that. Diana said, DG, what will make you lose hope in Arteta? If I continue to not see a blueprint, a DNA, a way of playing, a somewhat the manager's mark, you know, even if it's defensive. I'm not saying I want defensive football, but I have craved a manager and have wanted management that, you know, whether I agree with the philosophy or not, I can immediately identify it. Like, fair enough, Sheffield United are not doing well this season, but you immediately know what you're going to get with them. You know what you're going to get with Leeds. You know what you're going to get with Leicester. City are not the best, but you know what you're going to get with City. Liverpool always adapt and have adapted these injuries. You know the basic premises of what you're going to get. The principles remain the same. Of course, tactics and whatnot change. So the more I fail to see this, and I'm just talking building blocks. Of course, I would love silky football. I'm always watching Arsenal's old videos where we had Santi, Rosicky, Ramsey, and the rest of them, my guy. I know it's going to take a while for us to get to that level, but I just want to see building blocks. That's what I saw with Arteta when he initially took the role. As I said in my vids, he solved more, he answered more questions. You know, all the questions were there. all the answers were there. There weren't really much questions. He was patterning the defense. You know, I don't know if it was due to Arteta or, you know, you typically see teams perform better when they've got a new man. If there is that early bounce, I'm not too sure. But there was that. I feel this season, as well as I'm not always I think it's a balance thing. I'm not always going to bash Arteta or bash the players. I think it's all of them. Like yesterday, I'm more angry with the players than Arteta. I'm only angry that Willian started, really and truly. But, you know, I just want to see some building blocks, man. I don't really see any building blocks, and that's what will make me go. Obviously, the longer that this goes on, the more we have to say, you the man. But I badly want it to work for Arteta because, you know, we ain't... forgive me if I'm wrong, you're a United fan and you've obviously got Chelsea with Lampard. I'm not trying to take shots at any club, but, you know, we're going to sit here as Arsenal fans still saying the same thing for the next manager. If he walked in tomorrow, we're still going to say it's not his squad. He needs time. You know, he needs to buy his own players. All of these things are true and very valid, but you get it. We're going again and again, and we ain't got the checkbooks that Chelsea have where they could say something like, all right, boom. And I know it's not always like this in recent years, but all right, cool. Lampard's bought Havertz and Werner and the rest of these guys. You know, the next manager, I'm not saying he could bin all of these players, definitely not Havertz, but he could get some substantial P's and say, okay, cool, I hear what Lampard's doing, but what he spent is irrelevant. I need my own 100 million. You know, and that's why a lot of established managers, Carlo Ancelotti, Luis Enrique, all of them ducked this job. They probably picked up the phone to Arsenal because it's Arsenal Football Club, but when it got down to the nuts and bolts, they were like, F that. And to a degree, I have to say Arteta also did as well, because why did he take the job a year on? You know, they have to have said something different, or maybe he didn't feel he was ready 12 months ago. And for me, I rate Arteta. You know, I want him to succeed because he showed me that he can go games unbeaten. He showed me he can galvanize, you know, he's mainly got credit in the back of last season. I'm not really seeing such this year. So it mainly be that, and obviously the more that these games start to happen, the more that players start to move. If you don't get it twisted, some of these players have played under several managers now. Some of them have been under 4 man technically now. What, Wenger, Arteta, Lombard, Una Emery, you know, and it's still the same old nonsense with a couple of those. So some of the players are damaged goods, but that's what it will take for me, really and truly. But Arteta has to face the music, because I do think one pet peeve is he's not learning from his mistakes quick enough, and he's not showing adaptability. Now, saying that, I sound a bit harsh, because yesterday he went 4 at the back. I called for Aubameyang through the middle. Aubameyang went through the middle. You know, like I said, the only thing I'm looking at a bit sideways is probably Willian starting and Bellerin for Maitland-Niles. And Bellerin did okay yesterday. He weren't the worst. He didn't play amazing, but he weren't the worst. We're not speaking about him. You get it? And Willian, you know, Willian, that's one for me with Arteta. I know he's talking about muscle injury, and we'll get onto it. But if Saka and Willian are injured, then we're in a bit of a pickle. But for me, you know, it's got to the point where if I'm Willian, you know, you're talking about, you know, you could have went MLS, you could have went this, you could have done that, but you stayed here because Arteta gave you a project. You're comfortable in the Prem. You can win, believe you can win the Prem, and all of these things. You know, you've seen all the media reports, you know. I'm not seeing you play like you believe in this thing. I'm not seeing you play well because you look clueless. And obviously a bit of that is Arteta's tactics, even to Willian, but I'm not seeing it. And Willian, you know, Pepe hasn't really been given opportunities, and we'll get on to Pepe. He's thrown this thing away. But Willian, Arteta's giving you consistent opportunities, and it's like you're spitting in his face, because at least the best you could do is give a good performance yesterday. You know, you've been playing poor, so fans are onto you anyways. Obviously with the Dubai thing, rightly or wrongly, you know, that's mentioned. So go and give your manager a good performance for backing you. He didn't do it, you know. On the there's a lot being said of Mikel Arteta and favourites and playing favourites and favouritism and things like that. Every manager's got favourites. Me and you will have favourites. My favourites would be the players that show me the thing in training, and the players that are the most consistent. 2 things that might be eluding Arteta at Arsenal right now. You know, when you hear, again, mainly sporting mistakes and not necessarily a red card, but when you hear, you know, when David Luiz, when Kolasinac, when several other players have made mistakes in the press conferences, the damning talk from Arteta hasn't been as strong as that, and hasn't been like that. Now, granted, they've all been back passes. This is an immature red card, but I can see why people might see the favourites thing. You know, he kind of protects Willian. I would say it did appear that Arteta threw Pepe under a bridge more so than you would have thought. And like I said, you know, Wenger would have said something like, I never saw it, and dealt with him in the changing rooms, and that's what I would have liked to have seen. I'm not saying Arteta's wrong, because, you know, sometimes you need that, and you're at the point with Pepe, maybe, you know, to get a reaction or to get him to fix up generally now, he probably needs to be hung out to dry in the public. But it did, the thing with the Pepe thing, you know, Pepe can't hide anything. Pepe deserves all the criticisms he faces purely because of that stupid act he done. It shows his immaturity. I got a video coming out later, more focusing on that, you know. But I just think the red card takes away. A lot of people focus on Pepe and either the scapegoat. I'm not saying he's a scapegoat, but, you know, it's Pepe's, the Xhakas, the Ceballos, the Bellerins. These are all the talking points. I'm not saying they don't have relevance, but, you know, they're taken away from a poor performance. Exclude the red card. Yeah, we did well to get something out of the game, I guess. You know, were we in the game with 11 men? Truthfully, people, can we say we could have, woulda, shoulda did this? The only woulda, coulda, shoulda is that penalty. Now that I watched the game again, people, it's one of those ones. But it is what it is. Bro, we're waiting on that spell, bro. It's looking like that spell happened before at Fulham. It's looking like when you get them free memberships, and you start paying for it. You know what it is? It's like StreamYard. Because when I was using StreamYard for free, it's like I was getting more views. The minute I thought, you know what, the fans deserve consistent live streams, let me pattern this, all of a sudden the views aren't banging. That's what it's like, man. That's what it's like. And for me, you know, the road is going to be bumpy, like Sam has said. The road is going to be bumpy. We're going to be up and down. But for me, that's what I need to see him implement his ideas. I get it. He needs time, but you need to show me something. You know, today I'm not asking you to play like Barcelona, but you need to show me that you're moving in a direction you want the club. I just want to see a bit of progress week in, week out, even if it's minimal, bro. I saw that last year. It's eluding me this year. You know, a lot is made of our defending, and we are a bit more. We do have a bit more grit, a bit more determination. We're a bit of that, of course, people, 100%. But at the same time, I do think, man, inflate it. We're still making bad habits, and also, you know, how good defensively can you be without actual good defenders, you know, without good defenders, sort of thing. And we can only hit a glass, we're going to hit a glass ceiling, because with all due respect to Luiz, he's been in decent form. Is he amazing defender? Probably not. Mustafi's had okay form, he gets thrown in, is he not? you're looking at Gabriel and Tierney, you could say as the only real defenders. You know, I agree, my guy. You can't teach a rock how to swim. You know, you can only deal with the tools you have. But, you know, speaking of that, Arteta hasn't shown me this season. It says white and black to assume you get who you want and you're going to perform better. Last season, I was seeing that defensively. I knew once you got a Gabriel, a fit Tierney, maybe some other things, you know, Partey in midfield, I could see that. It's not as white and black for me to say, you know, you sign Lionel Messi, we're going to be better creatively. You know, his individualism will thrive, but I'm not seeing the system sort of thing. So I understand that. But at the same time, it's not like Arteta didn't know the role he was walking into, my dudes. You know, you knew that you'd have to coach and stuff like that. As much as you need money and you can only go too far. And if we're really on this coaching thing, fans probably need to concede that we're not that we have a choice already. You know, we're moving further away from the other clubs. Concede that. And for me, again, it's not all on Arteta, it's all on for singular players to want to improve as well. But I want to know the plan for these individual players. You know, Reece Nelson, what is the plan? He clearly needs to, as much as I think he was decent when he came off the bench, needs to work on his set pieces and his delivery. You know, what is the plan for him? Joe Willock, yesterday you saw a clueless young man. You know, it's not through his fault. It looked like a man that didn't know his job and didn't know what sort of piece he was meant to be filling out in midfield. So what are we doing in that regards? Like I said, and this is why I said, my guys, down to the coaching staff. Arteta's one man. He can't do everything. So how good is the coaching staff? And also, as you know, Arteta is inexperienced. He doesn't know stuff he doesn't know. He is going to make mistakes, which isn't a bad thing, provided, you know, he could be helped quickly and we could do something very quickly. He needs to learn. He needs to react. And I'm not too sure if that's going to be the case, people. It is what it is. We'll have to see. He just one thing I liked last season, he learned from things very quickly. It seems like there's a bit of stubbornness there, not based off the Leeds game. I don't blame Arteta for the Leeds game. You know, historically we've been poor in an attacking sense, so I guess that's on him. But I don't necessarily get at him for that. Is my screen off? Apologies if it is, man. And that's the thing, man. We need to find balance. There are some quote-unquote excuses Arteta can hold. There are some, you know, some sort of blighs he can get. But at the same time, it's about balance. You know, many fans can't say, I believe in Arteta. But right now, I still want him to be well. But I don't think he's doing the job right now. And for me, a lot of people say, give him time, trust the process. I will give time. I do trust the process. But at the same time, these are just empty words that fans are telling me in the hope that 5 months from now, we're gonna be wavy. That's not the case. You know, I want to see building blocks. I want to see hardcore evidence, you know, sort of thing. And that's me, you know, buzzwords don't really do much for me on the football ground. Last season, I saw stuff. This year, I don't. That's what, I'm not taking anything away. That's a good point within the context, but it's just frustrating because now you've got to go against Wolves, you've got to go against Spurs. You haven't really had who can tell me a meaningful shot we took? We can talk about Saka's chance, but that 20-year-old keeper who's conceded 8 goals in 2 games, yeah, what big boy save did he have to make? You never put him under the cosh or did any of that. So we're in this position, you know, because of everyone. You can't just blame the players. You can't just blame Arteta, you know. Man said 72 people watching reminds me of a certain player. We're gonna get into that, but I'm loving how you lot are interacting. You lot are coming hard and whatnot, man. Let me see what you lot are saying, man. Kiretta said, deluded. Is it just me or do our fans love scapegoating Bellerin? He was left exposed yesterday by Pepe and was facing overloads on his side. Yet our fans hate on him. I think he did okay. I think the defense did all right yesterday, man. You know, I think I gave Bellerin a 5 or 6 out of 10. I think he did all right. He tried to get forward. I agree. Pepe let him get savaged, but I do, and he was getting doubled up against. But I do think where Bellerin could have done, he was a bit watching the game again. He was a bit tentative to engage and close balls down and whatnot. It's you know Bellerin's one of those names where it's the Bellerins, this is Xhaka's, where they might be playing poorly, but whether we win, lose or draw, them names become the focal point and become the focus and whatnot. Bellerin isn't my cup of tea, but you didn't necessarily as much as I like him, but it is what it is, man. That's what I feel. Smash the like button, people. Big up everybody locked in. Big up yourself, Raz. Big up yourself, Hamid. You know, usual people in here. You know. Come on, bro. Come on, you know, Emmanuel. It's embarrassing. Get the likes up, people. Don't do me dirty, man. Big up the members. Check out the membership page, folks, for some exclusive sort of thing. Big up SA. Rion has said, yo, DG, you have to question our manager, bro. You have to, bro. If anyone that watches me on YouTube or hears me, you know, you hear me consistently question Arteta. Please, someone bring up my video months ago where I said, I said all of these things were happening. I said right now it's the honeymoon period. Man are not on to Arteta. When it's out of here and the walls moved, it's now. And as much as I think Arteta could be backed up and whatnot, I have less, or not less sympathy for him than Emre. But when I look at the dynamics, not to defend Emre or say I wanted Emre or any of these things, but Emre was head coach. You're now manager. The floodgates are open for you. Whatever it happened between, clearly Emre tried to rub out Ozil and it didn't bang. Why is it you've been allowed to not register him when Emre was on the same thing, but it didn't bang? So you're getting, the shackles are getting loosened even more for Arteta. Again, why he needs experience. And he's had the luxury to run the rule over his side. Can it be a coincidence we're crying for creativity when there's no Mesut Ozil? Not saying he's going to make a difference. You haven't shown me anything on a coaching front to show me you've been working in preseason or for months. You know, telling me you've been working in the last 2 months on passing and whatnot is of no help to me. And you obviously haven't brought in a man. So what have you done in the market? Cool, you wanted our Warren and Partey or a Shabozla, and these things weren't possible. But you should have 10 targets of some suitable standard sort of thing. You know, we've just made a mess of it. So lo and behold, we're here crying about creativity. And the wickedest thing about Pepe, and as frustrating as Pepe is and whatnot, you look at the numbers. He's up there since he signed for us for goals and assists. So maybe even when he serves his suspension, even if Arteta wants to rub him out, he might be cutting off his nose to spite his face, sort of thing. You know, it's a bit of a wild one. Even this season, you know, Pepe's barely played, and I'm not defending Pepe at all, but turned around the Sheffield United game a couple of times in the Europa League. He's changed the game for us. You know, you've already lost. You've lost that now due to suspension. Depending on Saka and Willian's injuries, hopefully in the next 48 hours, we get more of a clear picture. And as much as I'm not going to go as far as, I'm not criticizing your opinion. You can call for whoever you want to leave. But like you said, it's damning. You know, you can't say it's not his own players and all of these things when you haven't scored in 7-8 hours from open play, people. That's embarrassing. That's down to the players. Every one of those players should be embarrassing. Arteta should not have to tell someone like Aubameyang, just to paint a picture, why you should shoot against Leeds. You got a 20-year-old keeper. They've conceded 8 goals. You're playing through the middle. You know, service and all of these things are legit excuses, but they only go so far. Shoot, you know, nobody wanted to be galvanized. Nobody wanted to be in the headlines for the right reasons yesterday. We look like a bunch of individuals. And when you're fractured, when you're in a tough moment, that's where you need to see the leaders. I see Tierney, I see Gabriel, I see Saka. You know, when it's all going well, you know, when we're all on it from the start in the FA Cup, you were praising everyone. But the going gets tough. It was raining, peeing down out there in Yorkshire. You know, the ball wasn't zipping. I see only 5 players, you know, big up the back 5, you know, including Leno and Saka when he came on. Shout out Nelson. But I only see 6 man out of 11, you know. The same old 6 names ticked, or have you noticed, any of you that watch me, 9 times out of 10, I'm saying 6 players showed me something. Last time I checked, football is an 11 man on a football field, or women if a women's team, obviously, and a 25-man squad. You know, we need the whole squad to stand up to be counted, and we look fractured. People look like they're playing for themselves. Some man look like they're trying. Some man look like they want to try. They just ain't got no fight. Some man don't know what's going on. Some man look scared and just want to curl into a bubble. You know, we're fractured, and we need to, you know, the mentality has to change. And there's only so much Arteta can do with that, to be fair with you, man. Love for the praise, my guy. Love for the praise, my guy. It means a lot. Big up AFTV for having me yesterday. Go show that fan cam some love, people. You're right, man. The roads will be bumpy. I think I've got that one up already. Nick has said, as a United fan watching Arsenal yesterday, it was very laughable. Players are passing the ball into space when their teammates want it to feet. Bro, trust me, you said it there, Nick. You know, man are passing it to feet. You know, Ceballos is doing the difficult things well and not doing the basics well. Like, for me, that's one thing I don't get. Because when I'm not saying Chelsea's amazing, yeah, but when I look at their midfield and I look at the position the manager used to play in, you was a midfielder. So you can see why midfield is central, and you can see what he's trying to do. You know, he's got a Jorginho. Kante wasn't playing. He said, yo, I'm not losing Kante because Kante gives us a bit different. You've got Kovacic, you know, Mason Mount floats a bit. I'm not seeing specifically in midfield, and I'm not trying to be harsh on Arteta, because you saw yesterday we had to use what we had in it. Like, those were the only 3 midfielders we had due to COVID and obviously a 5 strain with Partey and El Nene. But none of these midfielders complement each other. It's only Partey and El Nene right now, and even that, you know, it's not the most expansive. That should have been. That's why I'm saying, if you can't get the marquees, the hours, the Shabozlais, even if Partey looked gazy at one moment, where is the succession planning? Where are the plan Bs? Because you can see it. None of these midfielders, every midfielder should be a specialist of something and complement it. We need a box-to-box man who can look to score goals. Hopefully Joe can do that. couple of defensive mid box to box winners, deep lying playmaker. You know, you have 5 and everybody complements. We don't have good pairs. You know, it's poor, and I can't understand it. Mikel Arteta played in the centre of the park for the very team he manages. He's played with Wilshere, he's played with Ramsey, he's played with Bear Man. He's come from Barcelona. He's, you know, he's been managed by Wenger. I can't understand why the midfield, you know, midfield is the one thing I wanted to see patterned up. You know, defense was priority, of course, but I would have thought, you know, look, defense was priority. I was going to see more of an attacking blueprint as he's had more time, as we've somewhat mastered the defensive elements and got that under lock and key. We're going to do other things. The progress is too small. I'm seeing a little bit of progress, like 2 steps forward. I'm seeing 10 steps back. You know, when we look at things like the Leeds game, yeah, there's more grit and whatnot, but grit for what? We've got a point, you know. And the thing is, if we want top 4, which I don't believe you can get, you just got to do the maths. You can't get it. Can you say we're going to go on a run? You can definitely say we're going to drop points. And for me, you know, I always say this, people strike me down if I'm lying. The players have to be looking at it on a cerebral thing. Arteta shouldn't have to tell you that you're playing after Chelsea, after Spurs, after United, teams that, you know, are trying to fight for top 4. Even Leicester, you saw how they messed up last year and they played against Liverpool, you know. It's close up there. You man should have been going into that game Sunday afternoon knowing exactly the ramifications of winning, losing, or drawing. Going to bed on Friday like, yo, Liverpool got Leicester, City got Spurs. You know, we can make a couple bits of ground here. I don't think they're looking at it like that. I genuinely think they're not looking at it like that. And you know, you think Klopp has to keep telling Mane and Liverpool and the rest of them the ramifications of messing up. You know, I don't think they're looking at it as a cerebral thing. If they was, they would have made sure they got points off Leicester going into that United game, because obviously, yeah, we won against United and looked great, but putting ourselves back into that shoes against them for Leicester people, against Leicester, I would have been thinking to myself, yo, we've got Man United. We ain't travelled well there. Let's grab 3 points. Instead, we got sourced 3-0. You know, United, cool. Isolation thing is good. Villa, cool. We need to pattern up. It's into the international break now. I want to go on a high. What were we doing? We're playing beach football that day. We've come back from the international break. As I've said about the individual players needed to turn up and wanting to play well. After the international break, let's give the fans something. As I've just said, I made the point about other clubs and points and whatnot. Go out there and do it. Instead, you did it. Now, when you look at the 2 points dropped against Leeds, the 3 points dropped against Leicester, the 3 points dropped against Villa. Obviously, we've lost to City and Liverpool. We all predicted that was going to happen. That's not really, it's deep, but it's not that deep. Do the maths. My maths is poor, but do the maths. How many points have you dropped already? And you look at Spurs, they're putting for every team is going to drop points. Like you're seeing that, you're probably, you know, Liverpool are going to win the league again, in my opinion, purely because, you know, even with all these injuries, you're not seeing a drop off in quality. You know, Jota, Firmino finally got a goal yesterday. They're superb. But the season, everybody's making a mess of it. There's not too many managers I genuinely feel, if you was to ask them, are they perfect with their performances? If they would say they're happy, sort of thing. We'll have to see, man. Raz has said thoughts on Joe Willock not taking his chance. He was, do you know what? I wouldn't, you know, it was an iffy game, but and Joe has to take some responsibility. But he's a 21-year-old. He ain't had too many minutes. The people, not to excuse him, but the people behind you are playing poor. The whole team looks baffled. You know, I can't expect a man to just come. It's like Pep starting Pepe against City and thinking it's just gonna bang. He ain't had. You still have to take your chance. And he was coming into the game with form. You saw him do his thing in the Europa League, but. You know, I don't think he was helped, and I think he should get another opportunity. But I don't think he was poorer than several others. But he just looked clueless. He looked out of his depth. I agree. He looked like a duck out of water, and I think he was set up to fail, really and truly, in that regards, man. Really and truly. I agree with you, Omar, man. You know, Pepe has to face the music, deserves to be slaughtered for that stupid and idiotic decision he made. But at the same time, that is not the only factor as to why we didn't walk away from Ellen Road with 3 points. It's quite crazy. And I can't blame you, Jay, for saying that. You know, for me, Arteta says the right things and I back him, but I'm not really seeing it. I'm seeing talk about 90 to 100 goals, being on the front foot and all of these things. And I'm not really seeing it. I'm not really seeing it at all, people. Hopefully, man, Nelson has to smash it. Take your chance. There was a lot of talk about Pepe or Willian, or when you speak about Pepe, a conversation about Willian's thrown in, or vice versa. Nelson said he wanted to stay, said he didn't want to go out on loan. You've got just under a month to show what you're on. Again, we don't know the severity of the injuries with Saka and Willian. I'm hoping to God it's nothing serious, people, for obvious reasons. We still need Willian in the squad, and we still need young Saka in the team. But there's the opportunity there for Reece Nelson, people. It's there for the taking, you know. go out there and claim it. You know, you're probably going to get a start in the Europa, claim it. And he has to stay fit as well. You know, he is quite raw. You know, he needs to work on his set pieces. It is antagonizing seeing him take corners right now, but the opportunity is there. And if you don't take it, you can't complain, man. He was poor with everyone, man. And that's it. You get your chance. If he doesn't get a red card, you know, we're sitting there and we're like, oh, okay, cool. You know, Pepe was poor, but you're probably speaking about starting him for Wolves. He's out of sight, out of mind. And if Nelson plays well, if Willian comes back as fickle as football is, if Willian starts playing well, what is said about that? You know, we're all, you know, me, myself, I've been Willian's harshest critic, but I've always said the moment he performs, I want my players to do well. You're back of the queue. You've got Saka. We're hoping to God Martinelli comes back. You know, if we had Martinelli right now, it'd be good. So we have to see, you know. My thing is, I probably see Aubameyang move back out there, and you probably see Eddie or Laka. So we'll have to see. I've got a super chat. Apologies, Nero's not letting me bring it up, but you said people say Arteta has improved the defense, but does it count if the attack is producing -1 goal difference? What has he really improved? And for me, that's where I'm saying, as a club collectively, we're going 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Yeah, we look a bit more solid, but you know, if you're still not scoring goals and you're still shipping goals, you know. You're still shipping it, you know. Aston Villa, he shipped a lot of goals. You can see there are a lot of shots against Leeds. You very easily could have lost 6 against Leeds. Are we really looking good defensively? And like I said previously, my guy, when you look at us defensively, how far can we go? We're hardly going to be a prime Italian side of the 80s people defensively with some of these players. You know, you can hit a glass ceiling. You know, none of these players are going to be world-class defenders. You know, and the ones that have a sniff of that or to be credible defenders are Tierney and Gabriel. Out of the how many? So how good can you be in terms of a defensive system without players? So you kind of have to focus on what you're good at or used to be good at, or at least on paper have the players to do. So I 100% agree with you. I do think it's inflated, my dude. Big up the members in the chat. Subi says YouTube's doing him dirty, man. I don't know why it's doing you dirty, man. It's sad. Make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Support the thing. What else we got? I wouldn't mind Nelson in that 10 role, to be fair with you. The Tapas Pulis, I can't lie, it's quite funny, and I'm not going to say that with him, but it is what it is. South London said, DJ, I don't know if you saw Freddie on Sky Sports saying Willock needs consistent game time. Bro, it's facts, you know. Yeah, he worked hard in Europa and got his chance, and on one hand, you've got to take your chances, but at the same time, you know, what development can you do? He's going to learn a lot from that game, but it means nothing if after this game at the weekend, you're just going to sit on the bench and not do anything. It doesn't help anybody. I thought Joe Willock should go out on loan. I think he's got some qualities, but, you know, if Arteta was to lose his job tomorrow, the next game, if he loses, he's losing his job. Is he putting Joe Willock in that squad? I don't think so. Joe Willock needs he needs to be molded. He needs to be crafted. It's a bit like a lot of these young players now. And I think he's at the stage where he needs to get 20, 30 games, man. He should have went out on loan in January. I hear you, my guy. You know, he got an opportunity and he didn't stand out, but I do think he was set up to fail because those that have several more years experience than him were hiding. You know, how can I expect an attacking mid to do anything when your midfielders they're too far apart? One's trying to be another centre half, one's going into wide options, and then one's busting out. You know, big up Leno. A man have been on to Leno. My thing with Leno is his distribution is a bit shaky, people, like you always see. But nobody's talking about Martinez today. Nobody's speaking about Martinez. And that's the sad thing about Leno. Every good game, no one's going to say that. The Wolves and the witches and the pitchforks are going to be out for him. Like, why do we sell Martinez anytime he has a bit of a dodgy game? Leno was superb. The only times that he was beaten, the post saved us, thank the Lord. Leno was very good. And, you know, I don't think Holding or Bellerin were amazing, but I think they were all right. And I think definitely Gabriel and Tierney went out fighting, man. They went out fighting. Please stop spamming, people. Please stop spamming. And this is damning. This is damning, my guy. David, you know, and we missed him. Congratulations to Louise. He's obviously having a child. He's having a child. So, well, he's had a child. George, I don't defend anybody where I don't feel fit. You know, I hold Pepe to account and then give him some sympathy where I don't think everything's his fault. And the same for Arteta. The only thing I'm going to defend is Arsenal Football Club. And I want both of those to do well because they're under the umbrella. But what we can't keep doing is picking sides, being in an individual's players camp, being a fanboy or fanboying the manager unnecessarily, you know. I think Wenger would make us. I think out of all of them, Wenger would make us play better football. But you know, it wasn't the last 2 years of Wenger's reign. We was playing terrible. So let's keep it trill. We got Melso, man. Smash up the like button, people. Smash up the like button, man. Too much Zidane, bro. Too much Zidane. Too much Zidane. Zidane without the ability, man. Big up yourself, Luke White. You know, I wouldn't mind Shabozle and our serious team gets them both, big man, or people, not necessarily the name, but people with that skill set for me, honestly, people. Gibson's gave, thank you very much for your super chat. Big up yourself for the super chat so far, man. I really appreciate you lot departing with your hard-earned cash. But Gibson has said, DG, my guy, I know a guy here in Africa who predicts accurately. He said Leicester will win it in 2016. It happened. He said Trump will lose. He did. He just said Arsenal will be a shock relegation. Well, that 10 euros you put here, my guy, or $10, you should have put that on Arsenal to get relegated. I don't think we're getting relegated, but it is what it is. And that's where it should be. You need both. You need the stats and you need the eye test. It's simply put, you need both. You look like Pepe. I wish I had Pepe's money, my guy. You know, I'd take getting sent off and you lot getting on to me if I could go home to a big ass house. Wish I had Pepe's peas, my guy. I wish I had it. Nero, again, thank you very much for the super chat. You said, how did he even get the Arsenal job? He's not even a legend. Poch got Spurs to the Champions League final with zero spend. We spend more than Spurs. And I would say, you know, Poch didn't get them there overnight. Poch did a madness. So to be fair, it is his first season. We've got to be a bit fair. You know, I don't know why. I don't want to say he got the job on merit, but he probably did because of the Pep Guardiola connections, because of what we're hearing he was doing with the players and whatnot at Manchester City. So that's probably why he got his position, my dude. I'm trying to get a guest. If you don't know the Counter Attack podcast, make sure you check it out. I'm trying to get Daps from there on the show. And he said, just send him a link. I'm going to send him a link in a hot moment, people. I've actually, you lot have thrown off the course of this video, people, you know, because I was just here to talk about Arteta's post-match comments, but you lot got me doing a madness. Johnny Smith has said, DG, if Arsenal win the next 2 games and Spurs lose the next 2, will be a point behind. You know, that's the thing why we can't be quick to look at narratives. You football fans are fickle. If we somehow beat Wolves, beat Chelsea, beat Spurs, beat whatever, again, it's just ifs, then the sentiment changes. So, you know, that would be good. And that's all the players can do, you know, go and beat Wolves and Spurs and it would flip things. It's like you lost to Villa, who had back-to-back defeats. You didn't get points from Leeds. You beat United. You then go and beat Wolves and Spurs, hopefully. It kind of shows the inconsistency or the consistent. We've got consistency in being inconsistent. I'm not too sure about the worst fans. It's a bit calm down a bit, my guy. We'll just have to chill off. Big up Subi. You've said I think they'd be good as well, to be fair. I think that's probably the most balance we can find right now. So Bios in theory should be doing the more expansive stuff, Partey doing the expansive as well as, you know, putting a foot in and breaking down play. So hopefully that could be the case. Big up let's get the likes up, people. Bro, I don't think I speak for many Arsenal fans when I say we recognize that we're not going to win a league title. I'm not focused on the league title. I'm focused on just looking like a consistent team. You know, over 5 games, am I going to see some consistency? Are we going to less of these heartbreaking moments and these heart-in-mouth moments? That's all I'm focused on. But I do agree, Dominic. But if you're going to do that, everyone needs to move in the right direction. You know, they knew Klopp wasn't going to become, you know, the first manager to win it for Liverpool in 30 years overnight, you know, but they did what they could to help him build there. You know, whatever you say, they're all in the same capacity. Come on, George, get on to them. 71 likes. What's all that about, man? Hit up the likes, man. Hit up the likes. Dark Soldier, Broski. Our set pieces annoy me, especially when we do them tired short ones and it gets cut out and you just waste the centre backs going up there. I agree, SA. What's the plan? What's the plan? You know, what's the plan? Big up yourself for that, my guy. Big up yourself. That's easy for you to say. It's easy for all of us. It's easy for us to say as football fans, of course. Right? That's all we can say. What are you on about, my guy? Calm it down. As I just said, with the ifs and buts, my guy, the facts are we're not, but I'm here to consider all angles. Calm down. I didn't manage Arsenal. It's not my fault we lost. Anyone that's sexually frustrated, anyone that's frustrated ridiculously with the game, anyone that cannot take a chill pill, you need to F off out of this live stream because we're here for level-headedness. I'm as frustrated as you lot, but we need to calm down, man. There isn't grounds to say he doesn't like Pepe, but I don't think he favours Pepe, and he's looking for a reason to draw him out, really. And, you know, Pepe's drawn himself out. That wouldn't be the worst of ideas, my guy, Sam. But we have to wait for Martinelli to come back fit. And I mean, Arteta has to face all the music and all the criticisms you are giving him. And I think give him time. But time for what? I'm just sitting there saying give him time because I believe in him. But, you know, I can't break it down for what you lot need, people. Is what it is. I don't think people wanted him to set the world alight. I mean, obviously every fan would, but again, basic principles, learning from mistakes, not being stubborn. There's no way around it. Even if you just support Arteta, I'm not saying you directly, Sam. Everyone needs to recognize he has made some silly mistakes. This is it. But it's all about where we're moving. You know, we can't just scream process for no reason. Right now, we're not seeing building blocks. So I do sympathize with fans assuming they're providing a balanced argument. Man said the wage bill. That's a bit harsh. It's a bit harsh. Takes home less than Emre, I believe. Hopefully not my dude. Hopefully not my dude, you know. Or me or Deluded. That's that Tion Wayne tune, isn't it? Let's be careful, man. You don't become a bad manager overnight. Let's remember that he did win the FA Cup. He has won some big games. He has improved us in regards. He has gone on an unbeaten streak, you know. He has to face the music for this bad form, but you don't become a bad manager overnight. You know, people, if they want to call for Arteta out, then they can. But personally, I'm with you, Sam. I don't think it's a thing like that. I'm just got obvious frustrations with him, and I want him to improve in that regards. But past that, I can't really be onto him, people. What else was I here to speak about as well? Like he said, you know, is what it is. But if Arteta's got to the end of the season, or unless and assuming it doesn't become a thing where it's obvious that we're declining, and you know we're becoming a bit like Emre, where it's clear that we're not doing several things, man. Bro, he was overpriced. We got scammed, bro. 419 thing, man. What's that scammer that got bagged? Hush Puppy, bro. Hush Puppy probably touted Pepe to us, man. You know, we got shagged. We firmly got shagged, people. There's no way around it other than we got finessed. If we just look at Arteta and his talking points after the game, people, you know, if we just look at his comments and what he said on the red card, he said, yes, you have to take a point considering the circumstances. I'm never happy with a point, but we know what a challenge we faced in the second half for 45 minutes with 10 men. The way we reacted to it, the resilience that we showed, the effort that all the players put in to try and overcome their advantage, it was phenomenal. At the end, we have to take a point because credit to Leeds, they had chances to score. And that's facts, you know, we have to just take a point and settle with a point and move forward with that in that regards. But it's a case of what could have been. On Pepe's red card, he simply said, it's very clear, it's unacceptable, And he did seem quite vexed in that regards, people, really and truly. He did seem quite angry in that regards. And I really hope that the players not started fighting and carries on, but I think we're at that stage where in a healthy way, everybody have it out with each other. Everybody say what you actually feel, and let's effing move on and do what we need to do to start winning, because we haven't got time to carry people. If you're not standing up to be counted, if you're not serious, depending on whatever season is going to happen at Arsenal, get out. Because, you know, when it's all going well, you don't see man's test of character. It's only now, like I said, Tierney, Gabriel, Saka, top of my head, I saw positive character. I might be a big fan of Aubameyang. I might want to see Pepe play more. You know, I might have time for Joe Willock. I might want to see Ceballos back in the lineup. But them man there did not show me anything when the going got tough. And time again, like I said, you know, man, I'll keep screaming the same 6 players and things like that. The main concern of Arteta's post-match comments, and like I said, in the next 48 hours, we should find out more. But on Saka's injury, he said he was in pain. We're going to have to assess it with the medical staff, how bad it is. But it looked like a pretty bad challenge, and he was in pain. So we decided to take him out straight away. He spoke about Aubameyang playing through the middle. He said, in moments, it worked really well. We had a patch in the first half, a patch of 25 minutes when we were really good, efficient. We pressed high. We created some really good opportunities. You know, and I agree with that. The first 20 was all right, and it made it really hard for them. And, you know, the last 15 minutes towards that half was very stressed, and we should have went down, people. a couple of goals. And he said then there was a spell in the 15 or 20 minutes of the first half where we started to give the ball away. We didn't control certain spaces again, and they suffocated us, which they were always going to do. They did it against every team in the Premier League. It's impossible to dominate this team for 90 minutes. Then in the second half, when you hope you're going to get things adjusted and better, we go to 10 men. Then it's obviously a mountain to climb. He spoke about defensive solidarity, and he said, I think we've been working really good defensively. That flair, that creativity, that momentum that the players need to make the last action is the most difficult thing in football. So why did Wenger used to get mocked for passing the ball ridiculously, trying to walk the ball in? You know, that wasn't necessarily the rightest thing to do, but you know, it can't be that hard. And he's gone on to say, it's not that you're not creating chances, but you have to create more. And we have to be more consistent in the final third with the amount of things that we finish and how we finish them. But it will come. And the reality as well is that we haven't had much continuity in a lot of players for various reasons, which is very important to get the understanding with them. And that's been because of injuries, but it's also been because you have been making, you know, you've been chopping and changing and things. And Arteta, that is down to you to change that. The players have to be brave enough to hold on to the ball, to do creative things, but that is literally down to you. You've been here for 10 months or so. We should see an attacking blueprint or more sort of building blocks in that regards, man. I don't know about that. I'd say it's David Luiz, based on what I've seen. And he also said in relation to Willian, he said it was something muscular and he had to take him off. I think it was because he played poor. He then further went on to say, it worries me, obviously, because we need goals and we need a lot of goals to win football matches and to be the top team that we want to be. Without that, it's impossible. It doesn't matter how good we are defensively. It's not a lack of attacking players that we have, because we have attacking players on the field all the time. But we need some moments where we have to make decisions earlier, better, and they have to be more ruthless. Those are all things the players can do. But in terms of fashioning creative chances and creativity, Arteta, that's all of a result of you on the training ground. And he said, but it's the most difficult thing in football. And sometimes we go through patches and we have to overcome them. And I have to help the players to do it as quickly as possible. And if you know that's the most difficult thing, why did you alienate Ozil? Why didn't you say the club needs to bring a man in even if it's on loan? Why didn't you have several targets if you're not going to get the marquee players? This is where I don't think the club have helped Arteta, but I don't think he's helped himself. He was asked on if Pepe has apologized to the team, and I think this is where he could have protected Pepe a bit more, because he knows the wolves are in him. He's already admitted that Pepe's thing was stupid. You can't protect a player that you can't protect the unprotectable. But I felt he could have, you know, showed a bit of warmth into him. And he said, I'm telling you what I think happened, but obviously inside I cannot share with you guys, but it's the way I see it. So they probably all the players tore into Pepe as well as the gaffer. And as much as I think that's warranted, I think that's the wrong thing to do, because they can all tear into Pepe, but some of these men might be using that to hiding behind that red card. When we had 11 men, was we doing the best we could? So don't all use that as an excuse. He also said, when pressed if he's further frustrated, he said, I don't know, but we knew the level of intensity, aggression, and how alive they are in every action. And you have to be able to deal with that, because it's part of the plan against this team. You have to be able to handle this situation. He also finally said, I'm cross because I want to win. When I don't win, I get upset. We had it really difficult for different reasons, because we lost 2 players on international duty, and we had a player that came who wasn't in condition to start. We lost 2 players to injury and 1 through suspension, and we have an incredible amount of games coming up. So the fact we need to score more goals obviously is a concern. But I'm also really happy because I know how much this team has evolved in a lot of things. The first one is our resilience. And I agree with the first one. We have got a bit more resilience, but he also said ambition, people. I don't think we're more ambitious. And belief. Segregated moments, I see that belief. I don't see it enough. I see it staggered around here and there, and that's not good enough. We showed while playing with 10 men, and this is growing as well. It's a positive thing, but these are things we need to do better. And dare I say, Arsenal are better when we're reacting. You know, when we go a goal down, we suddenly look like a better team because we know we have to score. We've gone a man down, suddenly we're like, okay, cool, we know we need to defend, we need to be switched on, sort of thing. And we're never like against Leeds, like against Leicester, like against Villa, we never started these games on the front foot well enough, people. It is what it is. It really is what it is. Away from that as well, people, apparently Arsenal have restarted contract negotiations with Balogun, which is some good news. You know, he can actually talk to clubs abroad in a couple of months. Well, a month basically soon, people, from January. Apparently, The Athletic, courtesy of David Ornstein, has said Arsenal reopened negotiations about a new contract for highly rated striker for Balogun, with Mikel Arteta keen for the 19-year-old to stay at the club. I suspect if we get him to sign a new deal, he'll probably go out on loan, even though I'd like him to stay in amongst the team. As you lot know, he had a lot of interest over the summer. Sheffield United had a bid turned down. Apparently, The Athletic has learned that conversations have restarted over a new contract, with his current terms expiring in June, and Arteta is determined to keep Balogun in North London. For me personally, I'd only stay if Arsenal are going to give you a concrete plan for how you're going to develop. He should be open to listening to other clubs as much as I want him to stay when I remove my Arsenal cap, people. For us, it's great. And maybe with maybe the injuries to Willian, to Saka, and the suspension of Pepe, we're going to need some more attacking players and whatnot to get involved. So this could be something that opens up Balogun. Smith Rowe could get some opportunities now. You're hoping Smith Rowe and Reece Nelson get more opportunities now. So we'll have to see what happens, man. Apparently, given the background to this situation, the fact Balogun is a free agent in the summer, so can speak to foreign teams from January, the range of suitors and the existing competition for places in both the striker and wing positions, is unclear if Arsenal will succeed. But Balogun staying now is a possibility, whereas previously his exit looked inevitable. And I will say this, allegedly, there's an extension clause within his contract, which is probably why Arsenal, those in the know, might be a bit more at ease. I don't know that for true, but it is what it is. Big up SAN, as usual. Thank you very much for your super chat, my guy. You said with the way Arteta talks at times, I'm not sure he sees the glaringly obvious issues, and that's my worry, because I guarantee you ask Alex Ferguson, you ask Pep, sometimes everybody, when you're so ingrained, that you need to be stubborn, because if every manager listened to every fan, imagine how fickle football would be. No managers would be a success. I'm pretty sure fans wanted Alex Ferguson out when he initially went to United, way before my time. So they can't always listen. And I don't think you should listen to fans, but sometimes you have to see things when everybody is saying something. I don't know. This is where it's coaching stuff for me, because are the coaches condemning him and saying he should have done better, or are they co-signing the stuff that we're doing? Sometimes when you're in a situation, you can't see things differently. Sometimes you need to listen to someone with a different perspective, and that's a worry. And that's where it goes back to me saying, we need to reach decisions quickly. We'll take Balogun at Chelsea if you don't keep him. To be fair, I don't think he wants to play for Vitesse, my guy. I really don't think he wants to. But to be fair, Chelsea would probably keep him for a couple of years and make 40 million off Donny. Arsenal will probably get £2 and a handshake and one cold cheesy beef patty. That's how mad we are. Big up yourselves, everybody that's tuned in. I want to give Eddie a bit of time to develop, but I wouldn't mind that. We talk about being self-financing. If you're a self-sufficient club and you need to sell, you don't sell Gnabry for pennies. You don't sell Benassia for pennies. You don't let Ramsey walk for free. You get money for your academy. You make your academy first and foremost. Like the brother said, Peter said he's a Chelsea fan. If Chelsea did the Arsenal thing, let's just say Roman effed off tomorrow and they said, yo, we're doing exactly what Arsenal do. Their academy right now can feed them and give them money and give, if it was Lampard or whatever, money to do other things. Because, if they was to sell Tammy, that's 50 million. James, 50 million. Mount, 50 million. Then you've got the Billy Gilmores, the Adjerins, people on the cusp of the team, which I'm not saying should be sold, but in theory, they might never play for Chelsea, and they could be sold for things, man. To be fair, I'd rather go Vitesse, man. I'm not too sure where they are now, but Mason Mount, I remember his year where he was playing Europa League for Vitesse, and then he went Derby. I'd rather go there, depending on if they're still in the top league, man. Don't make me cry, man. Bare names. To be fair, we've done everything we could to keep Yunus Musa. He was enticed by Valencia, and his move's been backed up. It happens. It's like Jamal Musiala. Chelsea tried to keep him. Bayern Munich had a better sort of plan for him, and it is what it is. Drippy, I understand you. I understand, man. I understand you, my guy. I understand, bro. At least with the younger ones, you think, all right, cool, you're going to learn from your mistakes. Some men have been making these same mistakes after the same mistakes, people. It's crazy, man. Never say never, because if I was Brentford and they gave him a legit structure and how they plan on making him a better footballer, I'd listen if I was Balogun. So never say never. I say you give yourself the option, because if he gave himself the option of Mesut Ozil or utilizing Mesut Ozil, then nobody speaks about this, people. Let me try and get my man in. You ready, bro? 1 second. I'm gonna send a link to someone, people. It's really unprofessional of me, but I'm trying to get somebody in here. Here we go. And we've also been linked with Sander Berge as well, people. We've also been linked with Sander Berge, and I would take that. You know, we're probably only gonna get him. We're only gonna get him if thingy. If Sheffield get relegated, and what he's 22. They paid 20 odd million. Again, I don't think when you drop to the championship, you need to sell players, like sell them, because, you know, a couple of championship teams held on to their players, and, you know, man in the championship, and you're still talking about 30 million. But, you know, if they get relegated, I'd be open to that. I'm sure if you've played FM, you know about Sander Berge. For me, he's dynamic. He'd have a similar impact to Højbjerg had at Spurs if he came to Arsenal, in my opinion. He's got good height. He's got good physicality, you know. 22, so there's resale value. He's competent in his role, which is a big one for me. You know, I'm laughing with that. I'm laughing with that. Like you said, Peter, and big up yourself, Peter, man. I got a lot of time for people like you. You're providing intelligent conversation. Exactly what I'm saying, people. And Peter, I agree, but I disagree. I fully agree. You know, and you've seen it. Like, I'm sure at Chelsea you saw it. Everyone was crying for Callum Hudson-Odoi last year. He played against Liverpool. He got killed. The same is that's happened under Joe Willock. Man are crying for Joe Willock now. Do you remember a couple of years ago he was killed against Newcastle, and then quite rightly so had a good performance? You know, man cry for these young players, but they're not willing to wait on them and let them develop. I'm not saying don't ask questions, but, you know, you don't know what you're going to get for 10 games. You have to be prepared for them to be up and down and ask legit questions, but also question mark them. You know, you also have to be prepared to say that you might be less competitive than the other clubs. And I think fans just say things for the sake of it. They don't comprehend them. And it's like you said, they'll drown. You look to your left, look to your right. They're playing, you know, if you're playing good, you're playing or bad, it's down to you. Saka thrives in this environment. You know, not every young player is that, but the mentality is there. Joe Willock looked a bit clueless, and he has to take accountability for that. But you look to your left, you look to your right, who is there? You're seeing people older than you looking clueless. You know, what is being said? And that's it. They will drown. So 100% agree, man. Big up Peter, man. AM's not got time for... I like Pepe as well, but I like my football club, and I can't keep holding man's hand. And as an Arsenal fan, as much as, you know, I like players to develop, and I know we're never going to get the finished article, I'm not really on this. You know, we love these project players. We love these players who show us enough to be frustrated, but just a little bit to mean they're a player. And I'm not really on it anymore. We've been down it. As much as I love Ramsey, we was down it with Ramsey, we was down it with Ox, we was down it with Theo. You know, we've been down it to older players like Ozil, you know, cutting our losses. You know, I think Pepe can still be part of the squad. You know, we're not going to make our 72 million back or whatever variables it is. So we might as well just leave it, fam. Really and truly. He probably does, but if you want to play, you go out and get them, man. Bro, I'm not saying Arteta out tomorrow. I'm just saying game by game, question marking. I'm not sure. I don't know when you found out about me, but I'm sure. Strike me down if I'm lying, people. I'll come off this YouTube if you lot say I'm capping. When I genuinely feel Arteta needs to hold account, I've said that. When I feel Arteta set us up in the perfect way, I've said so. Like, I go back. This is why I was most encouraged with Arteta, because I look at the United and Chelsea games last season at the Emirates. Two completely different results. We beat United, but if you remember, the second half was a bit edgy and we got out of steam. The Chelsea game, we threw it away in the last 15. That's what, and I've seen that several times where I've always said Arteta can't account for players not tracking back in the last 15, or David Luiz's several mistakes, or Kolasinac against Spurs. He can't account for them things. That's why I was encouraged, because I'm like, okay, cool. I'm seeing the system. I'm seeing what Arteta's on. These players, whether it's some players mentally, whether it's technically, whether it's ability, man are letting him down. When he gets his man, he's going to pattern up. Now, I still believe a lot of that, but I don't think it's as white and black as you give Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar. We're immediately scoring these 90 to 100 goals, because I'm not seeing the system. Do you get it, my guy? And we do over-rely on Aubameyang, as someone in the comments said. That's it. That's it. That's a good outlook, man. Bro, man, that's the thing. Man will scream for Balogun. He's a goal machine at youth level. And the minute he has a bad game or needs to develop, they're going to say things. And like you said, you know, Balogun hasn't played against senior professionals. I've always said he needs to go out on loan or be exposed to a first-team environment. He's scoring goals for fun at 23s. He's fast. He's straight. He got sent off last game. And I'm going to upload my review of the under-23s against Everton their game over the weekend soon. He got sent off actually. But 9 out of 10, he's stronger than everyone. He's quicker than everyone. You're not going to learn. He needs to play against a centre half that he can't out jump. He can't outpace. That's all over him to think differently. And you can't get that level of experience without being exposed to it. You know, I do think Balogun would show his class. I do think he's got a higher ceiling than Eddie. But people are not patient. You know, man, turn on young players very quickly. Fans are very fickle. I wouldn't say that's true, because if you look at my old interviews, you know, you can actually hear a number of these young players, even someone like Mesut Ozil. It's a big fact, you know. Cheeky plug of that. Big up yourselves, big up everybody tuned in. I'm trying to see if my guest is actually on this thing. If not, oh, it's because I haven't sent the link. I apologize, people. Let's go. Send the link, people. So we should see my guest. I'll make him introduce himself as usual. That's it. But people would have to concede, Adrian, that, you know, you never know what you're going to get. Like if we look at the next 5 games now, what? You got Wolves, Spurs. I'm not too sure on the other 3, you know, and the way we've been playing. If we throw these young players in, our fans going to get it. That's the thing. Please make sure you hit the like button, people. I find his man management mixed, as you would all managers. I think his man management is decent. I haven't seen the players turn on him, and several players always talking about him. I think his man management is cool. I haven't seen anything to suggest it's any different or to look at him sideways in that regard currently. We just need to do deals earlier and do them smarter, man. Yeah, my guy's here, man. Let me bring him in. What you saying, bro?
Oh, my guy, what's good?
Bro, after yesterday, nothing really and truly, my guy, man. Nothing. But we're here, we're living. The fans, them in the comments are giving me some therapy and whatnot. We might as well jump into it, man. First and foremost, obviously introduce yourself, man, and what you do in your podcast and that, man. Plug it.
Yeah, man. So I love having me on, man. I'm Daps, you know, Daps, and obviously I got a podcast, Counter Attack podcast, and I just chat football, man. Get a load of players on every week, chatting about, you know, their careers and whatnot. But yeah, man, that's literally all I do, man. And it's good that you've got me on here, man, because I love what you do, man. And I
appreciate that, my guy.
And I'm forever reaching out to you, man, to let you know.
I don't make me look bad, my guy.
No.
I've been planning to get you on this thing for a minute still. Look, you're getting the love, man. You're getting the love. Come on, man. Dapper Macano. Hey, but you're downplaying your content, man. You did one with Bradley Johnson. I watched it, man. You make some fucking good content, man. Really appreciate it. Especially for the culture, man.
Yeah, I got stuff with Andy Cole, Bradley Johnson, Jamal Lascelles, Van Aanholt. There's bare players. Tom Huddleston. I can't even.
That's what you like.
So yeah, man, guys. So I would love if some of your subscribers come and sub onto my content, and then I'm going to get Counter Attack Podcast. Literally, what my name is here.
That's Counter Attack Podcast, people, man. Let me write that in the comments for you lot. For anyone that going to mistake that. Counter Attack Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, everything in it.
Yeah, man, it's all there, man. But yeah, man, listen, you're the big man into this thing.
Never. I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday, bro.
How you feeling about yesterday? I've caught some of your show today already, so I kind of get the general gist of it.
Bro, what's your opinion, bro? I've spoken about it too much. For me, it's just same old, fam. What are you saying? I'm sure the fans would appreciate a different voice, man. I've been going too ham.
Yeah, I don't know. My thing is disappointing. I think sometimes we're very reactive. Do you get what I'm saying? Right. And if you just take a couple steps back, like I get people coming to me telling me, get Arteta out and it's Arteta's fault, and that's not always the thing to just replace the manager. Do you get what I'm saying? And we were lucky in the sense that we had a manager for so long, where we've never been that team where we just continue to change and everything. But you know, I'm not here to say Arteta out, because I don't think it's an Arteta out thing. But what I would say is that no one is above being questioned. Do you get what I'm saying? No one is above being questioned, and there's certain things that he does where you have to question him. You have to. Like, but then there's also something.
What when you get down to the nuts and bolts, what have you found yourself questioning about him?
I think a lot of time his team selection is it leaves a lot to be desired. I think how he sets us up isn't right at times. Do you get what I'm saying? And obviously when it works. No one's got any complaints. But it's things like, obviously yesterday we went to the 4-3-3, but he was very stubborn for a long time and kept that same formation, even though we're not creating. And I had a thing of saying that he was, in the beginning, I understood why he did that old, the 3-5-2 thing, because we don't have the personnel to play how he wants to play.
Defense priority.
But at the same time, we're still leaking goals to the point where we're not even creating anything. So yeah, I was happy yesterday to see Aubameyang back up top. I was happy to see 4-3-3 formation. And to be honest, it was a tough game to actually utilize that for once, because Leeds, no matter what formation we play, Leeds are going to be Leeds, and Leeds were going to give it to us. That game was exactly how I knew it would go.
How everyone expected, yeah.
I knew they were going to get the chances, and they were going to be all over us and whatnot. And obviously, yesterday hinged on one massive thing, the Pepe dismissal, and there's absolutely no reason for that. Like, I don't care what's going on. It was stupid. It was stupid, and this is coming from someone who was crying out just the other week that he needs more game time and whatever.
All of us were.
And you get thrown in, and that's what you do. And then do you get what I'm saying? And then after the match, people are still going at Arteta. It makes no sense for me, innit? Like, I'm not Arteta in, I'm not Arteta out. I'm just an Arsenal fan, and I want the best for my club, innit? And certain things like yesterday, I know some people were happy about Willock starting. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm never gonna be happy about Willock in that number 10 role ever.
Yeah. The 10 role is not him. I understand the energy and the legs, but he's not got the guile, the breaking the lines. He's like a duck out of water in that regards. Exactly. And I felt sorry for him yesterday, man. Yeah, no,
and there's a couple times where, if you look, like, he was getting into the positions, but he just didn't have that thing about him to.
He ain't got the class to make it happen. It's not him.
Yeah, he never had that thing to see that pass or whatever. But he'll give you energy, and sometimes it's not the energy you need. Sometimes you need that guy that's got that added bit of class and quality. But it's not his fault, because he's still very young, and I'm not one of those that will go and slate a young player who's just trying to find his feet and whatever. But I wasn't happy about that. I don't know what else to. That game went exactly how I thought it would go. To be honest, if you'd asked me at the beginning of the week if I would take a draw away to Leeds,
we all would have.
I would have said yes. Do you get what I'm saying? I would have said yes. And I think a lot of, you know what? Sorry to keep going on. I think a lot of this.
Go ahead, man. That's what you're here, man. Talk everything you want to say, bro.
Yeah, I think a lot of this would be saved if people would realize the level Arsenal are actually at. Like, we would save ourselves so much headache. All this Arteta out or blah blah blah. We would save so much headache if we realized the level we're at. Like, we are still 2-3 years away from competing properly.
And even that might be generous to for this.
Exactly. So my thing was, first stop the whole conceding 4s and 5s. There were times we were conceding 4s and 5s like it's a regular thing. We stopped that. We look more defensively, solid. But we're gonna have games where we're up against it and whatnot. But yeah, yesterday I was pissed looking at it. But at the same time, when I bring myself out of it and see that for 40 minutes we were playing with 10 men, I'm all right with a draw. And people might think I'm a bit mad here, but I could see that even with that 4-3-3 formation, we were looking better at certain times. Like, if we were
20 minutes.
Huh?
I feel for 20 minutes. My personal thing, I think we only look good for 20 minutes.
No. I mean, I think for the first half an hour, I think we were good. But I'm talking about if we had certain bits of quality, that there were positions we were finding ourselves in where just that extra key pass, and we won't even find ourselves in those positions. Do you get what I'm saying? After half an hour, it was all Leeds. It was all Leeds, 100%.
The last 15 minutes were tough, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you, but I saw enough there, especially in the first 20 minutes, playing with this formation to show that, okay, we can actually offer something going forward, because it's been bad. It's been so bad.
We never look like we want to win a game of football, and it kills me to say that. You know, whatever you say, you have to try to score goals. We're not on that. For me, I don't understand it. And speaking about Arteta is one thing, and it's valid. But I question the logic of our players upstairs, because not to scapegoat anyone, but if I'm a Bamian, I'm not been scoring. I'm playing against a team that have conceded 8-2. You know, barely keep a clean sheet. 20-year-old goalkeeper in front of there. I hear that about creativity and not creating chances, but when are you going to force things for yourself? Are you going to keep sitting here game in, game out and say, oh, no one's created? Or are you going to try and drive with it? I know he's not exactly that player, but I don't feel we force things. I don't think our players have enough upstairs. I don't think they solve problems themselves. I genuinely feel Arteta can only sort out so much, bro. You know, he's the gaffer, but the players have to help themselves.
I heard you say before I came on that, you know, like the young players, like when they're looking left, looking right, who are they really looking up to? Do you get
where are you looking?
Yeah, and that's something I've been saying for time. Like Arsenal, we have this culture in our club of there's no accountability, there's no there's no real leaders, there's no real characters. I love Aubameyang, like I love Aubameyang. Do you get what I'm saying? But number one, he can't do it by himself. Number two, like his form definitely needs to improve. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's tough. It's tough because he literally dragged us through the last couple months.
Through the mud, bro.
Yeah, he's dragged us through, and now that he's experiencing a dip in form, like there's no one else to like bring us up. Do you get what I'm saying? And there's no one else who's stepping up. So, it's tough to watch. To be honest, there's going to be more games like this. Let me not lie.
More games.
There's going to be a lot of these games, and if Arteta was to get sacked today and a new manager come in tomorrow, the same thing would happen. Do you get what I'm saying? The same thing would happen, because we need to realize the level that our team is currently in. Do you get me? We're not at that level where like we should be competing for leagues. And
no divine right for any of that.
Yeah, no, we don't. Like we have to really look at where we're at. So it's hard, and because we all love the club at the end of the day, but you have to just accept that these things are going to happen. And like I said, moving forward, Arteta definitely needs to be questioned at times. You know, just because I don't think he should get the sack, it don't mean that I shouldn't question his.
Don't just trust the process for no reason. Like that's what.
Yeah, do you get what I'm saying?
That's what I wanted to ask you as well, man. It's like, do you feel there's too much of an agenda thing with fans in general? It's like, man, just condone anything Arteta does just so they can say trust the process, or I always believed in him. Some man never wanted him from the get-go, so he can never do any right. Just from the way you speak, you're exactly like me in that it's an accountability thing. It's like, I want Arteta to be a success. If he's messing around, we talk about it. When he's playing poorly, when he's playing good, we'll praise him, sort of thing. Do you feel there's too many? There's a lack of balance generally when looking at the mess that Arsenal is.
Yeah, I think, but that's just people in general now. That's just fans in general. People say stuff and they feel they have to die on that hill. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you didn't want Arteta in now, no matter what he does, like, I mean, if you didn't want him in the beginning, no matter what he does, the moment something goes wrong, I didn't want him in the beginning, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if you did want him, you know, you feel like you can't question him. Do you get what I'm saying? And there definitely is an agenda thing. And all it does, it just divides everything. And trust me, these things make its way to the players. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it makes it harder. Do you get what I'm saying? So 100%, I definitely feel that there's an agenda. I definitely feel like a lot of, it's hard because we're all fans, but I feel like not all fans should have an opinion, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. Do you get what I'm saying? Because
hey, you gotta explain that, man. Everyone's probably looking like, wow. I agree, though.
No. And what I mean by that, everyone should definitely have an opinion, but some opinions are they just don't make sense, and all they do is add toxic. Like it just makes it toxic. Do you get what I'm saying? And it makes it that much harder. Like there's absolutely no reason why you can't look at it. And the guy's been in the job for 8 months, and you can't look at it objectively without saying, okay, you got to go. You got, like, how is that just the fix? Even when Emery was there, I was never like, Emery, go, until the very end where...
Until it was clear that, yo, you're not the guy.
Exactly.
We were supporting him. We just didn't condone him at times.
Exactly. Like now we're in a time where people don't want to give the time. Do you get what I mean? People don't want to apply logic, because just 2 months ago when we was winning FA Cup, Community Shield, blood, Arteta could do no wrong.
Bro, do you remember how everyone was talking about when we went like 13, 14 unbeaten?
Under Emery or Arteta?
When we went on that little winning run under Arteta, people were just crying about it and calling him the Messiah, and now he was never good enough. It don't make no sense.
Yeah, man. So I definitely feel there's an agenda. I feel like if a lot more people were able to just hold their hands up and be objective, then things will be different. Do you get what I'm saying? Because, you know, I have no doubt that things will get better, whether that's under Arteta, whether that's under Arteta or another manager. Like, I don't know, but things will get better. But before they get better, we're gonna have a load more of situations. So are we going to be doing this every week? Oh, this person's got to go. Because after the Man United match, Arteta was spot on, and we outdid them and blah blah blah. No one was saying Arteta right them times. A week later, obviously the Villa team was a madness. The Villa team was a madness. Nice. Did you get what I'm saying? And it doesn't surprise me. I hated it. I hated watching it, but it doesn't surprise me because, like, our team isn't good enough when you really look at it.
That's how you play all year.
Yeah, we're not good enough, and we're gonna get, you know, those times more and more. But people just need to, you know, it'd be nice if a lot more people would actually not be so reactive and talk out of emotion. Because if you say Arteta out, what's your next solution? I genuinely want to know. Okay, Arteta out. Arteta goes out. Let's just say we get a top manager like Allegri. Which we won't.
Come here, bro, because we're not getting peace.
Yeah, which we won't. Do you get what I'm saying? Then what? You think Allegri's going to come with Rob Holding, Mustafi, Socrates, and them, man, and make it different?
It's not even that for me. Man are gonna say the same thing. It's not his players. He needs time. He needs money. We're not Chelsea, where if they sack Lampard, they're probably going to give the next manager 70, 80, 100 million. You're not going to get that. People don't understand. Not that I want Arteta to necessarily, it's Arteta or die trying. We need one manager to kind of get this right. We can't afford to keep doing the merry-go-round thing. Let me ask you on Arteta, though, as someone with balance. If you had to put it down to anything, what have you been most impressed by and what are you most concerned about with him?
Most impressed by, I think, you can see he has the respect of the players. That's number one. And I think when you're a young manager coming in and you instantly get the respect from people, it makes a ton of difference. And I don't want to be dropping things like that. I've spoken to some of the players, like, so even when I spoke to Aubameyang, he told me straight away, like, no, Arteta is different. His training is different. Like, people
saying that.
Say again?
Even the young ones I interviewed over the all saying that, could not talk any higher of Arteta.
Exactly, and that's one thing. Number two is how quickly we looked like we had an idea all of a sudden. For too long, we've been playing looking like we haven't got a clue. And and you know, quickly he managed to implement his way. And even when it don't work, you can see what he's trying to do. Do you get what I'm saying? That's that. What I'm not happy with is his stubbornness. He's very stubborn. I can see his stubbornness. And, you know, there's times where you just have to just be like, you know what? I got it wrong. Let me switch it up. If something's not working for you, and I think fans are forgiving. Fans will understand if you're trying new things, if they can see that you're making stuff happen. Do you get what I'm saying? So, you know, too many times. Yeah, exactly. Too many times you go with a 3-5-2 and then it's not working. You persist with the 3-5-2. Do you know what I mean? And you put man, you squeeze man into certain positions that shouldn't be playing in those positions, like just to stick to your system. But
your system,
I will definitely change that. I'm one of them, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, who thinks Ozil should be included.
So right, you've got no backup option. Like that's simple as that.
And I think that is obviously, if the decision is above him, then it's whatever. But he absolutely has to be involved, because I remember I saw a game in Europa League where we had 2 goalkeepers on the bench, and you're telling me Ozil can't make it on that bench. Do you get what I'm saying? Not only that, Like, yeah, his stubbornness. Like it's almost like, okay, once I've made this decision, it has to stick. That it has to be that way. So even like Saliba not being included in the squad.
Yeah, no humble pie basically.
Yeah, I'm not saying Saliba should come and be playing week in, week out in the whatever, because I've not seen enough of him to say he'll yeah, but it's ludicrous to not even include him. Do you get what I'm saying? And then I saw him a couple of weeks back saying, "Oh, I feel bad that he can't be included in the." It's ridiculous.
He does affect him, bro.
Yeah,
that's what when he gasses up a player too much, he's not using them. He does it with Joe. He does it with Maitland. He does that. There's no point telling me it's a crime. Like you said, the Saliba one's interesting because obviously, you know, we're not in training. You know, there's apparently personal issues with him and whatnot. But I can't understand. For me, there's just the fact that there's no plan. It didn't scream there's a plan. You tried to palm him off to St. Etienne. You're scrambling to find him a loan club. That's the thing with us. Like, potential is just one thing, but I don't see the succession planning. Like, I know Saliba is going to be part of the team, but how is he fitting? How is he going to take off from Louise? What is Joe bringing to this table? What midfielder do you see as Joe? How are we building? Even Nelson, because I think Nelson was encouraging yesterday, but you're looking at some of the crosses he's putting in. Again, it's down to him to work harder, but like, you know, iron these bits of your play out of your players. You need to be able to coach and develop.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. He does do that thing where he gasses up players and he's not using them. On that Willock one though, someone asked me what's Willock good at, and
it's always harsh when you hear that, isn't it?
Say it again.
It's always harsh when someone says that, man. It's always hard.
What's Willock? Like, I think I like Willock, but if you ask me what he's good at, I couldn't really give you. I couldn't really give that, and I think when you start doing things like that and putting him into the team, like I genuinely don't know what he thought Willock would offer yesterday.
But that's what I actually, sorry to cut you off here, but it's like I've wondered that as well. But it's like there's Arteta. Wenger was the only guy playing him in a withdrawn role, but there's been Arteta, there's been Emre, there's been Lundberg. Is there a mandate do you think there's a mandate from the club, or do you think like they all see in Sutton, or he's doing a madness in training? He must be caca in training, bro, if he's always thrown in that role. Because I think he must be.
He must be, and I think it's got a lot to do with his energy. Like, that energy is mad, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we need that energy sometimes. You need that energy in your team. But I think in a team where we're already struggling and we haven't got stars like that, like, we can't just have man in the team who can just run. Because if you're gonna run, if you're gonna run and press man, and then when you get the ball, you give it away, or you're not really doing anything, I'm not sure I would not have you in my team. Do you get what I'm saying? At least with Ozil, when he gets the ball, like, I know he might not do a mad expansive pass, but he's going to keep the ball. He's going to see the right passes. Do you get what I'm saying? And I don't know what it is about Willock. I think it is just his energy. I think he's a great squad player. I think that he's got a lot of room to improve, but he's also young. And I'm a big advocate of letting young players actually develop. I don't believe that by 22, 23, man are just their finished article. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, but I don't know that Willock one, and I couldn't tell you what his best position is. I couldn't tell you unless they're trying to make him
box to box, man. Because he's good. He seems better. Because even me, when you were saying what's Joe Willock good at, I was trying to answer it mentally. I was like, engine runs. When I look at it on a harsh thing, you're a centre midfielder. Like, that's not a strength. That's a given. Surely in the modern day, you should be able to do that. I think he's better when he sees the game in front of him versus, you know, back to it, has to turn, do a little 1-2. I mean, he played further forward in academy days among other players, but I think this level is too high for him. If anything, he's going to be a box-to-box midfielder, but Arteta knows more than me, and I can't see what he brings to that camera. Definitely ahead of Ozil or whoever.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, do we have in our team the capacity to just have a box-to-box player who is average at what he does? It's not like he's a worldie. Like, I'm genuinely asking, do we have that space in our team for that? Because I don't think we do. It's
not. Our midfield don't complement each other enough. Like, for me, Partey's the only specialist. You know what he's on. You know what, in theory, we tried to see with Xhaka, Ceballos and them, man. Like even El Nene, his form has been good, and him and Partey is the best midfield pivot we could probably go with, but it's not expansive. Like, do you have much sympathy for the lack of creativity in this team with Arteta? Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't, bro. Because the market was there. You're not gonna bring in Aura or someone. Get lesser names. Like, what's going on? You're not registering Ozil. You're not using Willian in the 10, which everybody's just speaking about. You've got the Emils, you've got the Nelsons. Fair play, Emil's been injured, but I think Arteta's kind of set, like he's kind of dealt his own hand and kind of crippled himself.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I don't have sympathy because there's enough, and this is what I was talking about he's very stubborn. There's enough there to work with it, because there's enough there to realize I've got enough to do better than what we're seeing. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I see Xhaka and any Partey in whichever combination, there's absolutely nothing there. Like you said, even if you put a young man like Emil, I know he's been injured or whatever, or you put a Willian in that 10 role, straight away, you've got something different. You've got someone that can make something happen. Do you get what I'm saying? And I don't feel any sympathy for him at all. And part of it is down to him. Part of it is down to the club, because I don't know why, they didn't try to get that over the line. You see, Aura was the perfect signing.
Perfect, bro.
He was the perfect
player, blood.
He's the and you know what's mad? I got onto Aura late. I'm not one of those guys that's like, yeah, I knew about him from time. I got into him late, and how I got onto him, funny enough, was they played Man City in the Champions League.
Don't be there.
And I looked, yeah, and I said, right, who is this player? This man is good. Like, that's my kind of player. Mad intelligence on the ball. And then a week later, I saw we were linked with him. I was thinking, nah, whatever. But yeah, but when I saw that, we could have got him. No matter what you do, man, like, you have to just get those ones over the line. You have to. And if we're talking about Arteta being the man for long term, and they want us to really trust the vision and trust the process, these are the things you just got to get over the line. You just got to get over the line. And I think part of him was left a bit demoralized and a bit depleted when he realized that, we did all the great work, and then we didn't get his signings over the board. Don't get me wrong though. I say that Gabriel for me is one of the buys of the season, 100%.
Yes, him and Jota signings of the seasons off the top of my head. I think Højbjerg gets a shout out as well. Gabriel's been a steal. Apparently, we've only paid 5 million, and the rest of his 20 is over 5 years. Them things there can be good, but it's like, for me, I get frustrated because for every Partey for 45 mil, every Gabriel or Tini or Martinelli, how many players have we lost? I don't actually buy the fact of not having money and care for this. I just don't think we're proactive enough. It's like, you've got, what scares me is you've got not only have you got a novice in Arteta, as much as I believe in him, you've got Edu, who's a new one. So it's like, are they surrounding these guys with the necessary experience? You hear Tim Lewis and all these Kroenke advisors, but from what I get, Kroenke doesn't appear the most hands-on. So it's like, you don't really see the vision from our club, or you don't really get any clarity in what we're trying to do. And that's why I think fans get a bit annoyed, because even looking at Leeds, fair enough, Leeds are not trying to be a Champions League team, but you can see ambition. You can tell Bielsa is trying to become eventually challenging for Europe and making them a stable Premier League club. We don't have that. Really don't have that.
No, I honestly, I honestly just totally agree with you. I think that it's been an absolute shambles, and there are certain players who, if you're gonna freeze out Ozil, because they would have known that they were gonna freeze out Ozil. Like, that wasn't a thing that they just did. They would have known. If you're gonna do that, if you don't think that you're gonna get, Aura over the line or whatever, I would much rather you come up with a plan, like get someone who's almost like a lesser player, but so even if, and I'm not saying this is just off the top of my head, even if they say, you know what, we've missed out on these, man, let me bring Buendia in. Do you know what I mean? Let me, like, at least it shows that you're trying to do something. But all they wanted to do was be like, we're after these players, lastminute.com, get Partey over the line. Everyone's rejoicing it. Everyone forgets that.
A serious positions.
Do you get what I'm saying? So there's definitely some novice things going on in there, like 3-year contract for Willian, and I'm still a big fan of the Willian capture. I'm not gonna lie to you, but the 3 years was the one thing I wasn't happy with. I heard his wages are madness like that as well. And
probably are, man. His agent is in bed with us. He probably are, bro. Probably. What do you think, Willian, man? You mentioned it. You know, well, you said you was on the Willian side, and I wasn't on it, but I wasn't against it. I felt, you know what, compliment the side, give us another option out wide. It'd be an option. What do you make of Willian? And I'd have to say, on top of that, what do you make of Arteta's obsession with Willian?
Yeah, do you know what it is with Willian? Willian gives a lot in regards to defensively and the team structure. I know that, like, that's one thing you know you're getting with Willian. Like, you know he's going to work hard. You know he's going to defensively. He's not going to like forget his duties. Do you get what I'm saying? What I haven't been seeing from Willian is, you know, that dynamic, the direct play that he gives us, that creativity. We saw it against Fulham, but I think he was just gassed. It was his debut or whatever.
Bro,
but exactly, we haven't really been seeing it since. Do you get what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm a realist. I like Willian. Like, Willian's been one of my you know, one of my favorite players over the last couple of seasons. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's not been good enough. I'm able to be like, it's not been good enough. And he definitely is a player that needs to hold the bench, let another player come in. So when Pepe, but it's funny because everyone wanted Pepe over Willian, not because Pepe deserved it and he's shown enough, but just because Willian was playing that badly. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think Arteta knows. I think Arteta is so hung up on being defensively strong that he plays. Yeah, do you get what I mean? He does that, and sometimes you just got to look at it and be like, look, you're not giving us what you're giving us defensively isn't enough to cover the fact that you're literally giving us nothing going forward. Right. You know what I'm saying? And if it's a thing where Pepe comes in and he maybe doesn't give you that going like defensively, but gives you more offensively, then you know what? You might just have to do that. We might just have to play in a way sometimes where it's just like, look, us against you, attack.
That's it. That's it.
Because there's no reason why against Villa we should still be playing like within ourselves. Do you get what I'm saying?
We never started that game well enough. That was terrible.
Yeah, listen, from the get-go, we were gonna get cleared. But I'm just saying that there's certain teams we're coming up against, and he still wants to maintain that, you know, okay, defense. No, how about you just let man express themselves sometimes? Do you get what I'm saying? Because at this point, Arteta's being made to look like an idiot for continuing to pick Willian.
That's exactly what I said. Because Willian's not respecting him. He's not giving your manager nothing, especially with the Dubai thing. You're not giving your manager nothing.
Exactly. Like he's not giving himself a chance, and ultimately he's killing Willian. He's killing Willian. Sometimes you need to take a player out. Like Lacazette, he come out now, and what we're going to see from Lacazette, we're going to see him. Yeah, he's going to come back and whatever. Cool, but that's sometimes you need that. Like for what I know, Willian is here for 3 years. Like now is the time you let him know from the get-go that it's not going to be a walk in the park. Because that's what was happening under Wenger and them, man. Like, too long players were in our team that they shouldn't have been in our team. There's no consequences. They can play rubbish and still play next game. Do you get what I'm saying? When I see man like Mourinho, man can't have bad games like that.
Yeah, you're out of it. You're getting weak and you're getting thrown under a bus, man. Really.
Straight away. So yeah, man, he needs to just let Willian hold the bench for a couple of games, but then who do you bring in?
That's it. That's where you're looking at it now. It's like, Nelson, this is your chance now because nobody's fit. You've got to take your chance. You're probably looking at moving Aubameyang back out wide, and like you said, bringing in the Lackers or bringing in Eddie, because who else is a wide man? You know, Balogun might get on the bench and things. You know, I know he's a striker just because he's an attacker, but we're down to our bare bones, man. Martinelli would have been great. He's not fit. What do you make of Pepe though? Because it's like, I do think Pepe unnecessarily gets scapegoated. I do think he needs to hold the music. Definitely yesterday he needs to hold it all. But I do feel, and I'm not defending his red card because it was stupid and we had to defend. We never looked like we was going to win with 11 men. And I think that takes away from how poor we was. I also feel, I won't say Arteta threw him under a bus, but I do think his comments were quite damning. It's like, you've got to protect and critique. I did think he threw him under a bus. And maybe he's trying to do that because that might be the last straw for reaction. And, I do think Pepe deserves more chances. He got a red. He has to hold his hands up and stuff. But, has he done much worse than many players? So, like, what's your feelings on that whole Pepe in general and that whole crap yesterday?
In general, all people like, I never like to look at price tags in it because people don't pick their price tags. So that 72 mil, I've never seen it haunt a player more than it haunts Pepe. Do you get what I'm saying? And no matter how much he was worth, no matter how much we paid for him or whatever, at the end of the day, he's still a player that needed to settle in. What didn't help him was the fact that he came into a team that was underperforming. He came into a team that was just negative and we weren't doing anything. And I do believe that there's times where he's shown glimpses. We don't play to his strengths enough, but there's also a lot of nonsense that he does. And I'm talking about, and I like Pepe. Do you get what I'm saying? I like Pepe, and I'm not one of those that can't look at him and also just critique him. Like there's things that he does, like simple ball control at times, like and he plays like he's always having a jolly up. Like sometimes we need you to just let the ball stick and make
a killer, man.
Yeah,
happy-go-lucky, like it's a holiday camp, like he's going to Dubai, bro. This is a serious thing, man.
Exactly, and you know his end product is extremely wasteful at times, but then he'll do something like he did in the Europa League, and it's the inconsistencies for me. And I was happy to, because if you look at his overall stats towards the end of the season, or at the end of the season,
actually quite promising, even in a mediocre team. He's done better than most, man.
Exactly. But I also watch football, and I also see that within that you've done a lot of rubbish. So I was just like, you know what? Let me see what he comes up with now. And now he just looks so like it's like nothing ever bothers him. Do you know what I mean? Nothing ever bothers him, and I don't like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Even if you have to make it look like you're really putting it in, and I'm happy that he came out and said he wants to play more. And I saw that when Lee Dixon was just like play better, then I was just like simple, play better. Yeah. So let
play better. Grab, like you saw yesterday, grab that sort of thing. I do think he looks a bit aggressive at times, and that red card has been coming because he bites too easily. He needs to channel that.
Listen, everyone was trying to talk about, there was racial comments and blah blah blah, and I was just like, listen, he just lost his head. The guy got his head, and it was schoolboy. It was schoolboy, and like I said, we don't play to his strength, but at the same time, he needs to just back up his ideas very quickly, because it's getting to the point now where I can't continue to defend. How much time do you want to give him, man? And I'm not here saying he's rubbish. No, I'm not here saying it's because of the 72 mil. Forget all of that. What is your output on the pitch? How much time do we give you? And
what difference are you making?
Exactly. And something like yesterday, even though it's got nothing to do with his actual ability, something like yesterday that's the stuff that makes my head go. Because
that's stuff that makes you lose the trust, bro. Arteta doesn't rate you clearly, and now that's a saying of, look, this is why you don't play. It's harsh, it shouldn't be, but that's what most people are going to sit there and be like, all right, cool, it's fine. And now Willian's going to get more football.
Listen, if he got sent off 2 yellows, it was a bit harsh, or a VAR thing, it was a bit hard, I would understand. But we're already playing against a team where it's hard. It's hard. Do you get what I'm saying? But like, you go and do that. Go and do that. And then
an attacking move when that happens, Nelson he's made a good, Pepe makes a good run, bro, and he stops the handbags that he's been going with all day. It's ridiculous, man. Do you think Pepe is taking it in enough? Like, because I like to stay away from these comments because I don't know what a man's doing on the training ground. But when he came to this club, and I'm sure anyone that took Pepe in, you knew he's only had really like 18 months really playing like a star. He's still developing. He does come across as a bit nonchalant. And his dad made comments about, he needs to put more work in training, needs to make more of a meal of it. I'm not going to say he's doing the minimum, but it comes across that you're doing the bare minimum. Like, you're not doing enough for yourself. You're not realizing how important you're supposed to be.
Okay, so basically, and this is a bit of an exclusive for you, I was meant to have a sit down with him, innit? Because we've got the same barber, so I was meant to have a sit down with him, but Arsenal stopped it.
They always do, man. They done that bare for me when they caught up so many times.
Arsenal stopped it, innit? And his English ain't even all that. But what I did get from him is that the thing is, I talk like this, but I know he loves the club. He legit loves the club.
He does.
And I know he wants to be there. Do you get what I'm saying? And in the beginning, I think it took him a while to really knuckle down, because, like you said, it come out that he needed to try harder in training and everything. But I think he does try. I think he wants to be there, but I don't think the severity of the situation is quite there as well in his head.
In it.
Do you get what I'm saying? And like I said, he wants to be at the club, and But I don't know, that Pepe one is just,
it's a mazza, innit?
Yeah, I don't want to say get out of the club, because that's never been my thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like right now, it's not working for him. He needs to go back and work harder. And I think it's a bit of a, if it's not working right now, my thing is never ever just be like, okay, leave. No, you try and make it work. I've seen many examples of players just not working in the beginning and they knuckle down and turn it around. You see it all the time.
Speak about Aaron Ramsey. People got short memories.
Yeah, bro. You know what? Obviously, I'm a bit older, but I remember when Robert Pires first come to the club. Robert Pires
had a tough initial period as well. Look at Bergkamp as well. Robert
Pires in his first season got voted as the worst signing. Like he got voted as the worst signing.
Now look.
Across the board, not just Arsenal signing, across the board, he got
out of proportions.
And the very next season, he come back and he was just a madness after that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you said, Dennis Bergkamp, my favorite ever player, he found it tough in the beginning, but you turn it around. And to bring even recent examples, Lo Celso at Tottenham, Jose wasn't having him at all. You get me? Giroud at Chelsea.
And at Spurs as well, forced his way back. No,
I believe people can turn it around, and I think I've seen enough to know that he's got the quality to actually do well, and that's the important thing. It's now about how much work he wants to put in to make it happen. Do you get what I'm saying? Am I talking? I feel like I'm waffling, by the way. Am I waffling?
No, man. That's actually refreshing hearing someone that, like, I knew you knew ball in it, but it's refreshing to hear a level-headed person speak, man. Because it reminds me that I'm not crazy. I'm sure you look at a couple of YouTube comments and it's almost like I must be watching a different game. I must be smoking Skittles or something, man. Because these are on something else. But it's the Pepe thing, fam. Like for me, I think I'm starting to feel Pepe can be a good rotation squad option. I think that, like you said, the price tag means he cannot be that. I think we're going to cut our losses purely because Arteta is going to be here in a long time. I think he just doesn't feel Donny, so it is what it is. I'm not going to give up on Pepe, like you said, because I've sympathized. All the reasons you said, he's had a kid, all the pressure is on him. I don't really care for the attitude and things. I just think sometimes he plays within himself. Like I said in my video, like I know he's not Thierry Henry, but I want him to be a bit like Henry, like be a bit more demanding of his teammates. Sometimes he doesn't get the ball and naturally can see he's peed off. Like really demand that these players do not skip you out now because the ability is there, man. Like I just don't think he's gonna be like our Mo Salah or our difference maker, our Harry Kane or whatever. I don't think that's what he's brought for 75 million, but he's never gonna do that,
Yeah, I think with him, he's one of those that you just got to play to his strengths. Like, stop trying to make him play a certain way and blah. Just play to his strength. And from what I see of Pepe, he has to be coming onto the ball and ready attacking. He scored a goal against Sheffield United where he made a run and Bellerin just put him in. And straight away he's running at
Didn't he do that against United as well? Something similar.
Yeah, exactly. And straight away you're running at the defense and you can make something happen. Too many times he's picking up the ball on the halfway line and he's starting from a stand.
Enough, he's dead. They'll crowd you out, it's dead.
Yeah, you're not doing anything with that one, innit? So play to his strength. When you see him making those runs, and sometimes, do you know what he needs to do? He needs to just make that run or force them to make that pass. Do you get what I'm saying?
Don't let them get away with not playing it, Don't let them be hiders. Don't let them hide.
I think he's very good at that. So Saka's off the ball running. It's so good. You have to just give him the ball.
You've seen it. You're going to look like an idiot if you do not play that pass.
Exactly. Bellerin put him through yesterday, which he should have scored, to be honest.
Yeah.
He should have scored. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he doesn't help himself, but like you say, he just needs to become more ruthless. He just needs to become a killer. Do you get what I'm saying? There's certain men that you see when man is running, off the ball running, you're not stopping him. You're not stopping him.
Savage.
Do you know what I'm saying?
When go on.
Yeah, I was about to say, when human son is making them run, you're not stopping them. Like, you give him the ball, you force people to make that pass, but he's too nice with it. Like, you give me the ball, blah, blah, blah. I give it away. Okay, I'm going to get it again. Do the same thing.
Yeah.
We can't do that. He needs to be more of a killer and just be ruthless and not have it, man.
And that's why for me, it's like you said with Mane. That's a great point. It's like Mane, why he's gone up a level is one, he's not interested in playing in stupid areas, and two, if he rips his fullback once, he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it again. Sometimes it looks like Pepe, and not just Pepe. A lot of our players, apart from Saka, they'll do it once and they're like, okay, cool, I beat him now. The manager's not gonna get onto me. No, savage him, play to the point where that fullback at halftime or whatever, the opposition manager has no choice but to clip him. That's what I want to see from a lot of these, man. Do you think we're gonna sign him in January?
Do I think we're going to sign anyone in January?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope so. Someone DM'd me the other day saying, "Oh, hours across the line, they're going to get him in January." But I'm like, I said, no, I'm not believing that one. Like, I don't think we will. I think it's very hard to sign players in January, especially top players who aren't already in the Champions League, aren't already in Europa League. Like it just doesn't happen. I don't think anyone can name me 5 top signings who are still involved in Champions League or Europa League that have made that move over the January window. It's hard, and you have to pay a premium, and Arsenal already don't want to pay little money, so I doubt that they're gonna make thingies and pay those premiums. So I hope we make a signing, but you know, we need that creative guy, man. You know what I think is going to happen, though, funny enough? I might be wrong. I legit think, that he might bring Ozil back. You know, when they're allowed.
He has to. If you're not going to bring anyone back, at least that's where I think Emre and Arteta showed their experience and inexperience. I don't know if it's a thing where they trust Arteta more, so they said, you know what, we're going to do this thing fully, and Emre was a bit more cautious because we know Ozil's a big player in the squad, or if it was just the board trying to rub them both out. But surely he has to. If you don't, as thick as it is, you sign another creative man, whether that's a number 8 like Arrow or a 10, we don't speak about Ozil. All I want to do is be shown a reason for why Ozil is not a thing anymore. We're always going to talk about Donny.
Yeah, 100%. If he brings someone else in, who is doing the job that we need, that we want to see from Ozil, or that we clearly crying out for on the pitch, then no one talks about here. But he gets that question every press conference. Ozil, get me. And on top of that, Ozil's there tweeting away, living life. Do you get what I'm saying? Which is making
that while we're playing.
Bro, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you have to just bring it back. So I do think that in that when they do the updated Premier League squads, I think Ozil will be involved, especially because as far as I know, he's been going to training, been training hard, he's been doing everything you're asked of him to do contractually. Do you get what I'm saying? I think you just have to reintroduce him, and if he comes and he's rubbish, then bring him out of the team.
That's all fine. All right, cool. Is especially when Arteta made his bed, because I remember when Arteta first took over, he was all like, "Oh, Ozil's a quality player. There'll always be a place for him." You can't use a man 10 times and rub a man out. I know there was wages and stuff, but something has got to happen. And if you know like you said at the start, you know that Ozil is never just going to be rubbed out. You were told in the summer of our business. Why is there not a creative man? Like, why? Like, this is why I get vexed, because it's like we're making bad decisions, and when we reach that journey as a result of making bad decisions, we're acting clueless. Like, we're choosing to do these things by not covering ourselves. It's a madness.
Yeah, no, 100%. And on that point, when Arteta took over and Ozil was playing well.
Playing well, bro. Playing well. Knew to take him off before the 70th minute. Take him off. Games don't play. That's the thing.
Exactly. He was playing well. So it's not even like you gave him the chances and he was terrible or whatever. He was playing well. So he can do it. Do you get what I'm saying? I remember there was a game, I think it's the Man United game. I was actually at that game as well. And that Man United game, I remember when he got subbed off here, the whole stadium stood up and they were clapping him off the pitch.
Liverpool at home as well.
Yeah, and he didn't score, he didn't assist that game, but you could see his input. Again, against Chelsea when we lost 2-1, I think it was. Like, the same thing happened now.
Lost 15.
The quality is there, man. And you know what's going to happen? Ozil will leave us, yeah? And then he's going to find a manager that believes him, find an assistant that believes, and then everyone's going to be like, "Oh, Ozil's class."
And do you know what smacks it for me? It's like, we finally got Partey. You finally got a manager who recognizes the defense. Why not use? He don't want to answer the Ozil questions no more.
No. So I just have to turn the light on.
It's like we've signed. It's like we've we finally got strikers, we finally got defensive mids, we finally got a centre half, we finally got a system, and it's like Ozil's not in. When for years it's been no striker, no centre back, no this, no that. It's a mazza.
Yeah, Arsenal just do things in bits and bobs. Do you get what I'm saying? When things finally make sense, that's when they choose to not make sense. Do you get what I'm saying? When things don't make sense, that's when they want to try and make sense of it. Do you get what I'm saying? So it just, you know, for years we were playing players in their wrong positions, forcing them in. You know, now that we've got players that can actually play in certain positions, play them. Listen, right now, whilst we're in this transitional period of actually trying to get better and whatever, you just play your best team. You get your best squad.
Play your best.
Just play your best team right now. Do you get what I'm saying? We're not in the position. We're not in the position where we can be keeping man out because of this political issue or this sentiment or what. We're not in that position right now. We're not Chelsea. We're not Chelsea where he can afford to leave if he really wanted to. Havertz on the bench, or Werner or Tamier, because you got man that can come in. We're not man.
Very well rub them out now as well. That's the difference between it.
Mate, it's a joke. Do you get what I'm saying? Right now, Chelsea have Giroud. Giroud ain't even touching grass.
He's saying him and the agent are saying they want to leave. He wants to bust out. He's focusing on France.
But they can do that because they can go and put Werner. They can go and put Tammy Abraham up there if they want. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things they can do. We ain't in that position. Like, Ozil's not playing, but you want to put Willian number 10. If that's gonna be what you want to do, then just involve. You get exactly. And like you said, come end of the season, you're gonna have to face the music.
Facts.
You're gonna have to answer to those things because these are the things that could lose his job. I'm not saying
you lose your job. Your loyalty to people like Willian. I know in the grand scheme of things, Pepe is the one with the headlines, but Willian will make you lose your job. And if that's how you want to go and you think they're the best to go at it, because I think people forget if he believes that that's his man, fair enough. But he's got questions to answer, man. Big up the new member who's joined my membership program. I deleted someone's question, but they asked your opinions on Lacazette and Eddie.
Yeah, I like Lacazette. But if it's not going for you, it's not going for you. I'm all right with him being on the bench. I think it came a bit too late, him being on the bench. You know, sometimes you have to take people out of the team for their own good. And Arteta didn't see that. So I'm all right with him. But I like Lacazette. The only thing is that it's the goals that people really, because his performances, they're not that bad at times. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right. He played very well.
Yeah, they're really not that bad, but then it's the goals that people really care about. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm one of them, man. Yeah, like if you're scoring goals, yeah, but when you're not scoring, you're not impacting, but all people can talk about your goals, then there's something wrong there. Do you get what I'm saying? And you know, like unless the amount of goals you're scoring is like 30 goals a season, like Aubameyang could get away with not playing well every game because you know he's going to tuck.
Yeah, you know.
But if you're not a 30 goal a season player and you know, when you're not scoring, you're also not really contributing. That's when I've got a problem. Lacazette fully contributes. He fully contributes. And
defensively and whatnot.
Yeah, and too many times we look for a scapegoat and we're like, nah, Lacazette needs to go. All right, cool. And then do what? It's not even Lacazette needs to hold bench, you know. Lacazette needs to go. Like, and then do what?
That's it.
At the beginning of the season when he started, well, no one was saying Lacazette needs to go.
Everyone's saying he's back. He's got his mojo and whatnot. I don't mind selling Lacazette, actually. But I want him to stay. I think, for me, what would give Lacazette and what I'd really want Eddie to improve, I think people underrate having another out-and-out striker in your bench. United would not have brought in a Garlo or Cavani if that wasn't the case. You know, they've got a fantastic free Rashford, Martial and whatnot. You know, Chelsea and Giroud proved his worth. That's why I'm on keeping Lacazette. I do think Lacazette is declining. I do think with his contract, we're probably going to move him on. For Eddie, it's a difficult one because I do think Eddie's just a squad player like Joe. That's going to be his thing. But when I hear Michael Owen speak, when I hear Ian Wright, when I see Alan Shearer, when I see something, there's an element of surprise with Eddie there. I just want him to be a competent player for us.
It is, yeah. You see Eddie's not pleasing on the eye.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But he's got that thing about him where he just tucks.
That's it. And that's why I want to see a bit more because he struggled at first team level with scoring. He snatched at efforts.
Yeah, no, but he's also young, and this is what I'm saying. That people people expect the guy to just be the finished product. Like the guy, how old is he? Like 20.
Imagine a Bamian at 21 if he played for this club.
Do you get what I'm saying? At 21 years old, I don't expect you to be the top striker. We got a Bamian to be our leading goal scorer. Do you get what I'm saying? But as far as number twos go or a squad player, I'm all right with I'm all right because at the end of the day, there are certain bits he needs to improve on, and he will improve. But even for his age, he's tucking. Man is a record goal scorer for England under 20, under 21s, you know. Do you get what I'm saying? And if we manage to get at the beginning of the season, if you told us Eddie Nketiah would probably get 10 goals this season off the bench and a couple starts here and there, you take that. You take that.
Man, this, Pepe, that, William, this. Man,
you take it. But when we're watching it and this is what we're getting, it's like, nah, it's not happening.
This ain't on. You made a good point. People don't understand improving. They don't, because I know they don't, because whenever it's an English thing, we don't talk about improving what you have. Clearly Arsenal need to buy players, but people fail to understand whether it's young players that are not playing well, or players we don't think are good enough. Arteta has to improve players. I don't think people value working with what you have and improving year on year, and that's just what I want to see with Eddie. I think Eddie can be a player for us, and if it doesn't work out, make money. That's why it doesn't have to work out here. Just grab 20 odd for him, man. Just grab odds.
Bro, like that's totally it, man. That's
well, we got someone upset. If you're happy with Eddie as your second choice, you're part of the problem. Damn, a guy can't have an opinion again, bro.
And it's not even about, like, left up to me. I wish we could have Cavani as a second choice, but we can't have Cavani as a second choice. That's
not our thing. That's not us.
We can't have Cavani as a second choice. And I'm saying Eddie is not pleasing on the eye, but there's something there. We don't get rid of Eddie and Nketiah, because I really do believe he will go on to be a good striker. I don't know if he's going to go on to become a world beater or whatever, but
we have a good career scoring goals. I believe that.
He's gonna go on to have a really good career, because the hardest thing to do in football is put the ball in the back of the net. And if you've got an eye for that at such a young age, you've got something there. All you need to do now is like refine the other areas. To get what I'm trying to say. So it's not a case of if I'm happy with Nketiah as our second choice striker. I'd love to get Cavani in. I'd love to get whoever else in. But at the end of the day, that's not where we're at. Nketiah. So yeah.
Last question, my guy, as we approach to, is the process worth it? I'll let you take that one away.
We'll see at the end of the season, but that's it. I can't come out and be like it's not worth it. It's worth it. Like, at the end of the season, we'll see. And that's another thing that I think too many times we want to make decisions now. Sometimes you just have to see how things play out. Do you get what I'm saying? Because
always be quick.
You know, in hindsight, when we were linked with Arteta, people were like, no. 8 months down the line, we win FA Cup.
No one speaks about the inexperience, you know. No one talks about that.
Do you get what I'm saying? So is it worth it? I don't know. We'll see at the end of the season. For now, I'm okay, you know, seeing how it happens, but I also know improvements need to be made within the team, the players, within Arteta as well. You know, improvements definitely needs to be made, and you know, and it's okay. No one manager. When Klopp first went to Liverpool, questions were asked.
Alex Ferguson, mate. How did it start from there?
Alex Ferguson almost got the sack in his first season.
And how would that work for them?
Exactly. So look, I'm not here to say Arteta out. I'm not here to say Arteta in. I'm here to say he needs to do better, and there's questions you need to answer. But for now, I'm willing to ride with him to see where we go, basically.
Facts. It's that, you know, I don't listen whether he's the man or not. Right now, he's shown me enough to believe in, definitely enough to have question marks. But until something swings me either way, I'm in a wait and see mode. Would I take Giroud back at Arsenal? No, I wouldn't. Shout out to Giroud, but nah, man, we've got Lacazette. He's already frustrating. We've got enough frustrated players here generally this season. We don't need Giroud. People look at Giroud with rose tints. He's a quality player. He's got, you know, if you look at his goals that he scored on YouTube, you'd think he's better than Ronaldo, but it's rose tints. He was incredibly frustrating over many years. I let them know.
What is about Giroud, though? Sorry.
Huh?
I'm on the other side of that. I think Giroud is not good enough to be your main striker for the course of the season.
It's a plan B thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think as a plan B, we don't have anyone else like him. We don't have anything.
Yeah, like, by default, but nah, man.
Yeah, if we came back and he was like a plan B, bring him on 10 minutes, you know, try and get a goal, then yeah. But no, I will never take him back as to be starting games and our number one. No, never. Because we've been there, done that in his peak.
Fact. And my mods have set you up nicely. I'm pretty sure you know mine, man. Let them know where to find you, man. Well, they can find you here. It's in the thing, but let them know again, man.
Yeah, no, YouTube, Counter Attack Podcast. On Twitter, my actual personal one is Dapo CEO, Dapo CEO. Dapo CEO. But apart from that, my podcast comes out every week on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and we just chat football, but also we get like real players on the podcast. Get me? I think this week I've got Blackburn's Bradley Dack. I've got Bradley Dack on the podcast this week. So yeah, and you know, there's just go to my page. There's content there, man. And hopefully, you know, DG will come on my page.
I'm coming to you.
Yeah, you come on, and every Friday as well, we do the Premier League score prediction with another player as well. So, you know, the players come on and just predict a score and whatnot. So go check out. There's bare things on my page, man.
That sounds sick, man. Make sure you take him in, people, man. You know, I only bring real ones on my show, man. So yeah, people. I mean, I've been here for an hour. My guy's been here for an hour. Hopefully, we've given you lots of quality. As usual, make sure you subscribe and spam your socials with support. But for now, we're out, people, man. Make sure you comment, subscribe, and do the rest, man. Go and watch the podcast with Andy Cole. What you want to say, my guy?
Yeah, so one last thing. I need as many of your subscribers because I've got too many. Like, I don't have enough Arsenal supporters.
Go and spam his thing, bro, man. If you're Arsenal, man, you've heard the man speak now. Come on, go and get your fix of the stuff. Man. Take in daps, man. How many subscribers you on?
I think only like 2, maybe even 2,500.
People go and make that 3 and 4 and 5 and 20. Look, I've got 27. So if you're all Arsenal fans, you know, he should have about 29. My maths is poor. You know, we've got 1. You know, go and get it happening. Go and get it cracking, man. Go and get it cracking. Please do that.
Big up, man.
But for now, we're out, man. You know, if you want more content from me, I'm always here on YouTube. So it is what it is.